evening, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get this started. Posting my Twitter thing here, and then we should be good to go. Oh, I misspelled SAMITO. Samcho. Whoops. Did not mean to spell SAMITO that way. Unlucky. Alright, let's is my phone here? Yeah. Samcho with a ratio? Yep. Oh my goodness. It's forever my curse to be running like a madman, trying to get everything all situated. Let's do this. Nice hair, thanks. Like ran out of the shower, got my coaching session started. Zoom, they ran over, getting everything prepped before then. It's been wild. Not just my hair. How's the calm before the storm? Kind of look like V from League. What's that? V League of Legends. Or Vi? Ah. I'm just gonna call. I'm just don't care. I'm gonna go chat mode. Hey, how's it going?
Hey, doing good, bud. How about yourself?
Doing all right. Apologize for the delay. All of my sessions ran over today, so I will return the favor and go over with you as well, I'm sure.
I appreciate you. No worries,
No
bud.
problem.
These things happen.
All right, let's get your form pulled up here. So, what got you interested in coaching? Let's start with that.
Well, just been playing Overwatch pretty much recreationally, and over the past year or two, started to get more interested in actually being good at the game, because it's a lot of fun. A lot of heroes, just it's a good game. You already know.
Yeah, of
Um,
course.
like I said, I was watching some of Cager's guides, and he puts some clips from your streams in there occasionally.
Sure.
And I just like the way you explain things, and I thought you had some good points. So I wound up finding your YouTube channel and figured I would get a session in with you. I've never had any professional coaching for
Perfect.
esports at all, so I just figured I would see
Sick.
what there is to see.
Okay, sick. Sounds good. Do you have a replay code for me?
I do. Luckily, I took a screenshot because I guess they're doing server maintenance or something.
I know. That's why I'm asking now. I'm getting spooked. If it ends up being wiped, we'll just reschedule. But I just want to find out now before we get too far into it.
Well, that being said, let's go ahead and check out. Let's see. I want to say this is going to be some Signal Ryan play on Dorado. It's going to be 8SV.
Okay. 8SV. Okay.
GZ9.
GZ9. Please work. 8SV GZ9. And it works.
Sweet.
Okay. You know what? Let's, if they're doing maintenance now, let's flip the script a little bit here. Let's actually do the review now and then go over the form afterwards. Does that work for you?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, generally I like to go through the form first, but I'm spooked with the maintenance and stuff. I would hate to have this get wiped midway through a review, and then let's just get into it. So
I needed to like go find your stream so I could watch.
no worries. Yeah, it should be able to, you should be able to watch through Discord, so you should be good to go.
Yeah, it just popped up.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so what rank and what hero are we looking at here?
Oof, this is going to be bronze 5,
Yep.
and looks like I'm playing. Oh, it's support. Okay, so I'm playing Lucio Bap here. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, Lucio, Bap, support, bronze. Okay, so let's take a look here. So a lot of stuff when it comes to like picking up different heroes and finding new heroes is kind of like having an understanding of like exactly what the hero does, like at a baseline. Right. So when you're picking a Lucio support, what does Lucio do better than, like, let's say other supports?
Well, he's got speed boost for one thing, so
sure.
Mobility for the whole team.
Perfect.
It's definitely a plus.
Yep. Okay.
That's
what else?
The main draw, I think.
Okay. Keep thinking though.
Obviously AoE healing. It's not the best, but you know it gets passive value from being near his teammates, so the mobility thing is a plus there as well.
Yep.
The boop to help make space or get threats out of the way. And
now it's kind of interesting because you pick Baptiste as well, but Baptiste has a little bit of that strength as well. He doesn't have the speed boost, but in terms of AoE healing, not bad, right? In terms of mobility, not exactly the same type of mobility, but good mobility, right? So here's a question for you, a very general question. Why is mobility useful in a game like Overwatch? Because it's one of the more advanced things to understand is why is it useful? What does it allow you to do?
I feel like there's a lot of different reasons.
Yep, 100%. What are a few of them?
Oh, let's see. Well, for support, it allows you to get 2 teammates that need your help or away from threats.
Sure. Okay.
When you're playing other roles and support as well, just lets you get into a more advantageous position.
That's it right there. That's it right there.
You can mess with people, and they can't mess with you.
100%. You just nailed it right there. It gets you into more advantageous positions. Let me ask you a question. If I'm playing Baptiste or Lucio, and like let's say the card's moving to about here, and I want to take high ground here, it's a little tricky, especially with Lucio, but I can get there, right? Now, if I'm playing Ana or Zen, it's gonna take me ages, right? I'm gonna go all the way around here, you know. I can't get here, right? So even if I wanted to get there, I can't go there. And that's what makes these supports strong, is that you can think about like what positions can I do? What can I do from here? Well, maybe I could boop them down. I can maybe help my Genji dive, right? But other supports can't do that. You can. And so you should always be trying to leverage that with the support that you're playing. It's like, what is this support good at? Let me try and leverage that strength. Now, the hard part is I don't imagine you have too many hours on Lucio.
He is probably one of the ones that I play not as much as others. Like I've played Baptiste, Zen, and Moira a lot.
Do you have an guess about how many hours you have on those heroes?
Bap, I want to say somewhere between probably around 30.
Right. So not like even so a decent amount, but not even a lot, right?
Yeah.
Talking about these guys that put a lot of time on the hero, and obviously it's not always realistic for everybody to do that, but that's tough, right? It's tough. So that's why heroes like Lucio, people talk about high skill ceiling. To leverage his strengths, it takes a little bit of time to be able to do that, right? Okay. Definitely. So let's take a look here. And obviously just holler if you have any questions, just yell pause and I'll pause.
You got it.
Okay.
Feel free to be mean. I know I do lots of bad stuff.
It's fine. Like here's the thing: is that like everybody who ever has played Overwatch in the history of the universe, 90% of them have been bronze at some point in time. I was bronze for quite a long time. I actually was so scared of ranked that I didn't even play ranked because I was scared I was going to be bronze. So instead, I was just bronze and quick play for like 6 months.
I think that's part of the reason that I don't rank up is because I don't play enough. Because that's like I get a little discouraged and I'm like, it's going to take so long to do this. Blah blah.
Sure.
That's probably part.
Sure. We'll talk more about that later. It's a shame that I'm so scared of the replay code because we're doing this a little bit backwards.
I forgot. Sorry.
But bear with me. No. I said it's a shame that it's not that you don't. It's a shame that the maintenance, right? That we don't have like. I'm scared this is going to get wiped, so I want to do this now. But I wish we could have done it better the other way around. But it's whatever. I was not expecting a patch today. Okay. the ball's contesting here. So one thing that you could do, are you on console or PC right now?
PC.
Okay, perfect. So one thing that you can do with PC is, one advantage that we have over console is that theoretically, if you can get your sensitivity and your setup situation better, is you can do things like checking angles and checking flanks more often. It's unironically, it has to be one of the most complicated games in the history of the universe. I'm not even joking in terms of the amount of visual stuff happening on your screen. So little thing that you should always try and have set up with your setup, whether it's your mouse, your sensitivity, whatever, is it should be comfortable for you to be able to look left and right consistently, because that's a skill, unfortunately, that never stops being important. I coached a master support player just a couple weeks ago, and we were talking about how their awareness of flanks and angles and checking needed to be worked on. And for example, for you right here, you're a little bit slow to react to ball on cart, right? Can you burn a ball? Not really, but you need to know that he's there. Right, and that's going to come through your ability to move your camera.
This was actually from about a week ago.
Yeah.
I watched your a video on mechanics and aiming, something like that, and I moved my sensitivity up a bit. I think it was about 2200 something. Now it's closer to 3000, so I am able to do that a little more.
Okay. Is that the eDPI, the DPI times the sensitivity?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Because 22 is very low.
It's like 3.3 cents, and like 1200 on the mouse.
So that's where you're at right now. 3.3 and 1200. That's actually the most generic average sensitivity. A lot of pro players have sensitivity. So you've actually smack dab in the middle. That's a good one. That's very generic. So that'll work really for just about everything. Okay. Balls are so annoying. They just sit and survive and survive and survive and survive.
They really do.
So here's a question for you.
I think I wasn't really sure what to do about him.
Well, yeah, it's tough. You could definitely boop him on the slam and boop the follow-up. But yeah, it's tough. One thing you can do, so let's look at this real quick with ball. So you get the amp heal here. Okay. You see this roll here?
Yeah.
You can boop this.
Okay.
You can boop this.
Reactively before.
Yeah, as he's rolling, because it's not just about the boop damage. It's about what's about to happen right afterwards. You know what's about to happen afterwards, right? It's going to be the slam, and it's going to be the shots. Yeah. You can get way more out of this. And I'm telling you, as like a pro Lucio, pro ball coach, Lucio is one of the best counters for ball there is out there. Like, there's not hard CC, but the soft CC over and over and over again really can ruin their day. And I think as well, like right here, you see you got slammed, right? Look at the lower left of your screen, right?
Yeah, we're in bad shape.
What song should you be on right now?
Healing, I suppose.
Right.
Yeah.
It should be healing. Now, you might need speed to get to safety, but are you getting to safety right now? Now you're moving forward.
Going right back.
So you should absolutely be on heals, not only just for you, but also for whoever got slammed, which happens to be Kiriko as well. So this is, again, do you see how, like, it comes back to your awareness? You didn't know ball was on cart. You didn't know where he was. And then now you're not aware of what?
That Kiriko is behind me.
Right. And you're not aware of what on the bottom left of your screen.
That my health's low and I need to be switching.
Right. So it's two different types of awareness that need to get better here. And that's why Overwatch is so hard. Right? That's why Overwatch is so hard. So we're only like, what are we, like 30 seconds in? Let me ask you a question. Your awareness isn't good enough. That's not very helpful, is it? How do we fix that? How do we improve that skill?
I don't know. I hope you can tell me something about that.
All right. Dang, put me on the back foot. Okay, here's the deal. When you are
looking around more, for one thing,
right. I mean, can we build that habit? Like, let me ask you a question. How do you think pro players are able to make quick decisions like this?
Well, they practice a lot.
Right, practice a lot, right?
They kind of know what to do when they see a certain situation.
Right. They do a lot of things automatically, right?
Yeah.
And what you don't do is you don't do things automatically because you haven't played the game enough, or you haven't played the game with enough thought and intention enough, right? So what we want to do is try and instill good habits that will help you come automatically. So for you, the skill that I see right here that needs to come automatically, that's not right here, is you're tunneled on shooting a target. Okay, but then the target doesn't show up. You need to do a quick awareness check. You do not have the habit of checking your surroundings enough.
I did just kind of stand there for a second without like
That
doing
needs to be a
anything
habit
with
for you. You need to practice checking your awareness, checking your surroundings. Let me tell you something else that you need to practice, right? We just talked about. You need to do a better job checking your HP, right?
Yeah.
That needs to be a skill. And let me tell you something, as pro players are constantly checking their HP, top left, the bottom left, excuse me, constantly. Just quick looks. And there's another thing too, is like Overwatch does a pretty good job of like giving you like non-visual cues. Like you see how like your port is like kind of
red and stuff.
Yeah. It's like the old Call of Duty stuff, right? So it gives you kind of a little bit of feedback. Hey buddy, wake up. But you're not doing that right now. That doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you as a person or intelligence. It just, you don't have that experience of recognizing the signs or building that habit. And that's what we just need to, that's what we need to practice. So what you're doing here, like, this is kind of cute. I'm not gonna lie, I like it. Like, we missed the boop on this, but look at what we do here. We go in, and we actually boop that Sojourn in. Sojourn doesn't want to be this close, generally. So this is a pretty cool play. But the problem with this play is it's like, you probably should have died for that play with the HP that you were at, you know?
Yeah.
And then even now, we're still not quite full. Okay, now we're full. And then do you see how you amp this here? What's the problem with this amp here?
I'm full, for one thing.
You're full. Is anybody critical right now? Or likely to be critical?
Well, I think the ball might slam here.
But you can always react to that, can you not?
Right, I could boop him.
It doesn't demand, or you can boop him, exactly. It doesn't demand you to proactively amp here. So I'm picking on a lot of things, but there's a lot of things to talk about. And so what we're going to try and do is, now that we've talked about awareness of your HP, awareness of your surroundings, awareness of when you've used amp, awareness of which song that you're on, right? So that's 4 things right there. So now we've kind of established, I wouldn't even say how to play Lucio, but just how to play the game. For example, awareness of when to use your shift as Baptiste, awareness of where I should position, awareness of what's going on around me, awareness of what HP I'm at. Those all apply to Baptiste as well, right?
Right.
So these are global skills that you need to practice a little bit. And so now let's let it play a little bit, and maybe I'll pause and I'll ask you which skill you needed to do a little bit better. Sound good?
Sounds good.
All right. Nice boop. Everything's in front of you, so no awareness needed. You're gonna go in and help. Now let me ask you a question. What made you make this decision? Why are you doing this? What did you see?
Everybody seemed okay for a second, so I figured I could go mess with the Genji and stuff in the back line.
Yeah. Now let me ask you a question. If you were not paying attention to your Genji, you would not have seen this opportunity, would you?
Probably not.
So you were paying attention, and you saw an opportunity to go for a play.
Right.
That's good. This is very good. This is what we want to see more of. Now, whether this is an objectively a good play or not, I think it probably is, you know? But this is good. This is good. You should be very proud of this. And like, look at this. Like, now you guys have actually like staged a little bit of a dive, right? We love to see it. But that demanded you paying attention to what was going on. Mechanics actually aren't too bad. Those are some good shots. Nice boop.
I'm still getting used to the projectiles on his.
It's very unique. There isn't a hero in the game like it, you know. And this is again where the awareness kicks in. Watch this. So you hit your shots, you get the boop, you amp, probably reasonable given the fact that you're 1v1ing somebody. Then you're like, oh shoot, she's way out, I'm way out. Yeah. But then, you know, the funny thing about your hero is you can go right back to your teammate like a blink of a second, right? And there you go. Look at that. Look at the speed song. You see it? Is that the right song for the situation?
I think so.
I think so too. You're not totally full, but priority is speed right now, isn't it?
Yeah, I want to get away from it.
Again, this is great. And there you go. And now we're back on heels. That was great. That was really good. That was really good. We want to see more of that.
Sweet.
Now, you just heard something. Listen carefully. We can see through walls, so it's a little bit cheating. But listen. Hear that in our left?
There's footsteps somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah. If you were able to track this, what would you do? Tough, isn't it?
Probably. I suppose either get away from her or maybe boop her back towards the rest of my
Yeah, she's kind of
team.
overextended, right? Look at her position in relation to the rest of her team, which you probably have a good idea of where she's at. She's very punishable, you know? But okay, either way, we have enough awareness to follow our Kiriko. Now we're going for, instead of a Genji Lucio dive, we're going for a Kiriko Lucio dive. Let's go. I love to see it. Good, 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 good. Again, a little bit of awareness here. Check this out. Look at your HP and look at your response. Oh shoot, I'm getting shot. I gotta move forward. I'm still being shot. I'm gonna immediately switch to heal song to get cover and then amp heals. That was good. You see that?
Yeah.
And now watch this. Look what happens. Because she's pursuing you, but you responded well and got away, she's so intent on killing you. Do you see that?
She gets picked off.
She gets picked off.
Well, not too, but yeah.
Right. You responded well and survived, so she overextended and died. So you theoretically can win the team fight off of that decision from you. That was good.
I have picked up that even if you're not necessarily getting a pick, harassing the back line is generally always helpful.
Oh yeah. Not every hero can do that, but you're playing a pretty mobile hero, right? So if you see an opportunity to go with the Genji, go with the Kiriko. Yeah. Nice shots. Nice. Careful. Nice. Good use of speed. Back to heals. Yep. Nice. Ooh. Shots really are not too bad. Shots are really not too bad.
Oh yeah? I always think I'm missing more than I feel like I would like to.
You are, but it's not your lowest hanging fruit here, right? For your rank, your mechanics are not your weakest point. Your mechanics...
Honestly, that's not what I expected to hear.
No. Yeah, like you're hitting your accuracy here with your gun is better than it needs to be. Your awareness of what's going on around you and the cooldowns that you're using is probably lower than it should be. And so we need to kind of equate that out. Let me ask you a question right here. What's the issue here? What should you be doing literally right now?
Probably amp heals because Mercy's low. Or, well, no, I don't need to beat it all. But amp heals for sure.
Yeah, you're going to die. Beat would be, I might die while I'm beating. That's why I'm scared. You know, I'd hate to do that.
Yeah.
That's what we call an Ajax from a old Contenders player that messed up. He died. There was like some, I think was it a Contenders match, I think, where he died like 5 times mid-beat in a match, and so people called it Ajax instead. Yeah, it's a little bit tragic. But yeah.
Definitely had that happen before.
But you died because of no amp. It's that simple. And let me ask you this question. Why didn't you amp? It's been a little while. So try and guess. Did you know you were that low?
Probably not. I was probably more focused on trying to kill that Sojourn.
Yeah.
That was...
So again, it comes back to awareness, right? It comes back to where you're putting your attention. I think maybe not quite enough attention put on your HP, and that's going to cost you your life. Okay. I really like our proactivity, by the way. I like a lot of Lucios, I'm sure you see, struggle with just kind of being very passive and just getting AoE heal value. But you are really pushing the limits. And the reason why I like that is even though it doesn't always feel good and you might feed a lot, you're stress testing yourself a lot better and you're going to learn a lot faster how to play the hero rather than just playing it super passive. You see what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
This is good. Okay.
I mean, he's meant to be a frogman on the walls for a reason.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And even if you're playing defensively, you still need to have good mechanics with your movement. You need to be quick. And you're not going to learn how to be quick if you sit and cart all day long, right? You're thinking about it. Let's go. Yes. Yes. Love to see it. If you're putting attention on, I'm going to help my Kiriko out versus Brawl, or I'm going to help my Genji out versus this, we'd love to see it. I don't care if you're playing more passive or playing more aggressively. I just want to see you helping somebody or thinking about something. You know, good amp, you're low, you're gonna need it. Hey, this is tight. Okay, this is good. I'm really not being corny with this. I'm being honest with you. I was not expecting this. You just blooped right on out of there. Look at that. Look at you. Now the only problem here is like, where's the rest of your team?
Yeah. I did just kind of run away.
Yeah. You did kind of. You kind of panicked a little bit. All right, we're back. All right. Okay. A little bit of healing. Ooh, nice boop. It's a shame she didn't hold the ult for longer. That might have killed him.
Yeah.
Nice. Again, really, these shots are really not bad. They really are not. The reason why I asked if you're in console is because your movement's really clunky sometimes, but then you just lock. Your shots just lock. Which, if you're not on console, it means that's a good thing for your mechanics, but it's a bad thing for your movement and awareness.
Right.
All right. Yep.
I started doing that with Sigma, looking around like between shots since he takes a second to recover. So I will work on applying that to other heroes as well.
Yeah. And you're gonna love my advice when I'm done with this gameplay. I've got some ideas for how you're playing this game. It's gonna help a lot, I think.
Awesome.
So, what's the issue here? Well, what we've talked about already. Let me look at it from a third-person perspective, just so you get a little bit more info. You didn't have amp.
So I probably should have gone ahead and used my beat there, I guess, before I was like dying.
Sure. Let me ask you a question. Did you even know the Sojourn was on top of you either?
No, I did not. I was looking at that Kiriko ult and everybody standing in it.
So you got to find a little bit of value with where you're looking at, you know?
Right.
A little bit more awareness. Okay, let's see how we do. Taxiing, love to see it.
Mm-hmm.
And even like here, for example. Why are we on the floor?
Yeah, it should be jumping so we can get there quicker.
I think was it Faker, this League of Legends like nutcase? I think he would like roll out from spawn on League of Legends and he'd be practicing text while he was rolling out. Same thing for you. You know, do you benefit from wall riding here? Not really, but why not? You know what I'm saying? You need the reps. Get the reps. Sit in spawn room, ride around. You know what I'm saying? People make fun of me because I'm on Zen or Ana. When I'm in the spawn room, I'm practicing shooting my teammates. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not wasting any time. You know. All right. What's going up top? What's going up top right? What's going up top left? You're very tunnel right now, but you need to know this, right? You need to know. You know what I'm saying? You got to make a decision about this. We're gonna go in. Good amp. We're gonna beat. Okay. Nice boop. Might need a little bit of healing here, because your HP underneath the beat is still low. That's just a little bit of a micro thing. All right. Good wall ride. Got a little bit of cover. Okay. Ooh. Amp. Yep. Nice. We're in. Distracting the backline sets up your Genji. You get out of there fast. You're kind of playing like a Tracer right now, just generally nuisance on the backline, you know, and then just you get out and you do it again, you know. That's pretty good. That's pretty smart. Right. Okay. This is good. Again, like I really like that we're being more proactive with how we're approaching things, and we're not just sitting.
So I'm trying to do good things, but I need to pay more attention to what's around me while I'm...
And you need more practice at actually doing them properly.
Yeah.
Like you have the right intentions, but you're not always giving yourself full information because your awareness is bad. And then you're not very good at actually doing the task that you're trying to do. But...
as a result of that.
Right. I would rather have that box checked out of the 3, that you're actually trying to do the right things, because that means that you're actually going in the right direction, right? So... all right, you got this. I mean, come on, tell me that your mechanics are not like decent for Bronze 5. Look at that. Click. A couple of submit shots there. You hit the shot there though. Oh, come on.
We're trying here.
Come on, like that's pretty good. Look at all that pressure that you got. All right. You know, and this is where attention is really important, because you have to have, through experience and through information, know what to do with it. If you're not paying attention to what's going on around you, you're not going to have enough information to make a good decision, right?
Right.
That being said, if you gave me a math problem and a college professor a math problem, we both have the same amount of information, but one of us would probably be able to solve this. One of us probably wouldn't be able to, right? At least nowadays, I'm washed. So right now, you have as close to full information as possible, right? You know your Reaper's going in. You know the ball's going in. You know where your team is. You know where the enemy team is. So what should you do? You choose to peel off ball here. But what should you do? What do you think?
I should probably be going for the back line. With
Why?
Well, because I think that the Genji, the Kiriko, not that I was thinking this at the time at all, but I think the Genji, Kiriko, and the tank can handle the ball and maybe kill him. And I think Reaper needs help with Sojourn and Kiriko.
Agreed. 100%.
And if we can keep Kiriko from coming around the corner, she can't heal the ball, so that helps.
Agreed. 100%. So you're right. And now but the fact that we were able to actually have this conversation was contingent upon you actually seeing the ball go in and you seeing your Reaper go in. So you paid attention, you had the information, you just probably made the wrong decision. But I'm okay with that because at least you had the information to begin with. You had your awareness, this fight was better than most of the fights up to this point, correct?
I would say so. So
we just made the wrong decision. That's all.
I think maybe I didn't realize that Genji was back there or gonna come over there too.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
It doesn't matter that much. You had enough awareness. So, okay, we made the wrong decision. What should we do?
Next time, we should go with the Reaper.
And right now, at this point in time, you've made the wrong decision. Don't worry about it. Just peel off the ball perfectly. Right? If you're going to make the wrong decision, at least do it really, really well. Maybe you still win this fight, right? Maybe the ball dies because you boop him back in. Or you heal you off your Kiriko, or you land some 6 shots again. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe he doesn't die. Like, oh my gosh, he's got mines. Maybe your Kiriko does need peel. You know what I'm saying? It's not always super... So do it well. Okay, you're going to go help your Reaper? Okay, fine with it. I mean, good attempt, right?
Should probably have amped heals there because I saw he was low.
Definitely should have. Uh-oh. Oh no. The deploy rate nowadays is so fast too. Those mines like drop instantly, you know?
They really do.
Okay.
Not really sure why I'd drop beat there, to be honest.
Here's the thing. There's 2 ways to use beat. What's the first one?
Like defensively when you know like a Diva Bomb or some other fat ult is coming your way. Are you just going to take a lot of damage?
Yes. What's the other way to use beat?
Like proactively so you can push against a lot of damage.
Oh yeah, exactly. Or even just mid-fight. Like let's just say that you guys are in the middle of a fight, you just beat just to keep everybody healthy, right? Same kind of idea, right? So with those guidelines in mind, which you already knew, what's wrong with this beat?
We're not going in, nobody's about to die, and we're the other team's like
what's happening here?
Around the corner.
Nothing,
we have no reason to use it.
Right. In fact, the only fight that's happening, you don't even have LOS on. That's the problem with the beat. I am of the opinion that too many Lucios try to save beat for X scenario, right? They should just use it. But obviously nothing's happening here. That's the number one thing. Something has to be happening. We do try to push
maybe just so I can skate through the mines and like not worry about it so much. I don't really know what I was thinking.
It doesn't matter. See, here's the thing: is when you're not a very good player, I think a lot of people take it personal, where it's like I must be stupid because I should know better than that. But see, here's the thing: when you're not a very good player, it doesn't always mean that you're stupid. It just means that you're not very good at executing what you already know. For example, if you watch me play the game, you'd be like, "There's no way this guy's a pro coach." Right? But I know these things. I'm not very good at making these decisions in the moment. Not as good as I used to be, especially, right? So I tend to get flustered, I get distracted, or I don't have the skills. Even the awareness thing that we're talking about, I don't have those skills. I can coach them, but I don't have them. So it's like watching a football coach do a vertical jump. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's not such a pretty thing to see. So for you're like, well, I don't know what I was doing here. I don't know either. But it doesn't necessarily mean that you're an idiot. It just means that in the moment, you're just not very practiced with dealing with these situations. Because remember, pros are good because they've autopiloted these skills. They don't even think about it. They just respond. They're like animals. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is how humans learn. We have to compartmentalize. We have to segmentize. We have to build patterns. Like, when the best chess players in the world play chess, they're not thinking about each individual move. A lot of it just kind of comes natural. Well, of course, when I see this, this, and this, my response is this. That's just natural, right? But we don't have those... it's a lot of automation almost, right? So for you, you're like, maybe you're getting a little bit panicky. Maybe you're like, oh, I'm just going to be here because of mines, you know? It doesn't mean that you don't understand how to use beat. You just don't have a lot of practice thinking about beat, in these circumstances. That's all.
Right, because obviously, like, I don't self-VOD too much until, like, a little bit recently, and you're not really thinking about this stuff while you're playing the games.
Of course.
It's hard to learn.
Of course. Maybe not enough self-VOD, and probably not enough time playing. Now, here's another thing we're going to talk about when we get into the forum. Most bronze players play too many heroes. Let me ask you a question. Do you think that it probably applies to you to an extent? It's
possible. Recently I've played the least variety I think ever. I'm mostly playing about from 3 to 4. I guess that's kind of a lot. 3 to 4 from both roles, I would say.
So 3 to 4 from each role?
Yeah, damage I don't really play at all except just like to mess around. So yeah, 3 to 4 from.
So about 7 to 8 heroes.
Yeah,
that's a lot of heroes. That's a lot of heroes. Now, I know it's true. Now, this is where we have to find, we'll talk about this more later in the VOD, but you have to find the balance between improvement and fun. I'm with you. I play pretty casually right now. I do play I play a little bit of a cornucopia, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to sit here in one trick. I don't care about getting better. I want to have fun, right? But for you, if you're like, I want to get a little bit better and I want to have fun, probably need to trim down a little bit. It is hard to play a lot of heroes and get better at them. I don't care if you're Overwatch League players don't play 6 or 7 different heroes. They'll play 2 or 3, and if the meta shifts, they'll play 2 or 3 different heroes. But they need to focus on those heroes because, like you said, for example, right now, you have the understanding. Maybe you just don't have the reps on beating, right? Maybe you've been playing too much Mercy or too much Orisa, you know what I'm saying? And you're getting kind of confused. Because talk about how different each hero is, right? Every hero is so different, right? It's not even like Call of Duty, you know, you got the shotguns, you got the sniper. Every gun, it's the kit, it's the way they play, it's the positioning, it's the tech. It's the way they sound. It's so different. This is great, by the way. I love it. I love the speed boost, too. Like, you're cracked. This is really good. You're full HP, everybody's healthy, and you just sit on speed. Could use a little bit more wall riding, though, right? A little bit more speed, a little bit more proactivity. And the reason why we want to wall ride... Well, why do you wall ride? You just said it, I think.
To get you around faster, and then you can...
Would you not want to be here?
Things better sometimes.
You want to be here, right? Not here.
Yeah.
So wall ride, boom, boom, get here.
Exactly.
I love this speed, though. I really love this speed. Oh, you're about to boop this guy. Just do it. Oh, he doesn't get out. Nice! Nice. You're not going to kill Brawl with a boop, necessarily, but you're going to make him lose a lot more HP, which means he's going to have to get out and grab a health pack, which means it's a 4v5. That's why the boop is so important. And also, a lot of times, your boop will deny him from doing damage. By the way, good discipline here. You want to push this guy, you're like, oh, shoot, there's 2 of them now. Don't want to push now. If anybody comes help, you can go out. But I like the discipline here. Yeah, okay. Now she's overextended. Now your team can help. Good boop. Careful, 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 careful. Just a little bit overextended because of the Kiriko ult, right?
Yeah.
Good amp. Just a little bit overextended in front. Again, the Kiriko ult, right? The fire rate's just so big. You just got to be really careful. Okay, let's keep going. Do you have any questions so far? We've talked about a lot of stuff.
Nothing specific. We've been breaking down things as we go along and in a very understandable manner.
Okay, good, good. And I want to encourage you as well that a lot of what we're talking about, when we go back to figure out what heroes we really want to play, we're talking very global concepts here. So this isn't going to be something that's going to be like, oh, we spent so much time talking about Lucio, and I don't even want to play that much Lucio. You'll be good.
Situational awareness for sure is going to be good for everybody.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Awareness of cooldowns, thinking about what are my hero's strengths. Nice. This is really cute, by the way. Like, again, like, it's really kind of a little bit of fancy, a little bit of Reddit Lucio going on here. But, like, is there something happening right now?
Nothing major. We're just kind of hanging out, shooting at. Or wait, no, this is. I keep getting messed up because enemy team is blue.
Instead of using your eyes, listen for a second. You hear?
Somebody's flanking Kiriko, I think
Yeah,
maybe. Or
stuff's
yeah,
happening, right? Stuff's happening. So if
yeah.
you were to Reddit Lucio, now's the time. We're talking about Tracer, right? You're the little, you're the green Tracer, right? So, by the way, is that what the green man is? That an alien or a Lucio reference? What is that reference to?
There's like, I guess it's from like British something or other. It's just like this wood face like made out of leaves. You've probably seen it somewhere. It's
Yeah.
just a green man, like a forest spirit kind of thing.
Green. All right, I'm gonna have to look this up. The green, because it's actually a really cool name.
And there's lots of cool designs.
Oh yeah, are they like the faces he put on like trees and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Okay, all right, let's keep going. So, long story short, Reddit Lucio, when your team can actually follow up, not bad.
Fair enough.
Because look at all this attention on you, right? Look how much space you created for your team. You know, look at all these guys, and as long as you survive, yeah, that's the real big if, you know. All right, let's see what we do. We go back then. We get out. And this is when Overwatch gets hectic, right? What should you do right now? It's not so clear, is it? Complete chaos. There's Pharah's flying above your head. Kiriko, who's impossible to hit. Balls rolling around like a maniac. It's confusing, right? So take a breath. Think about it. What could you do? What could you focus on? What can you put your attention onto? Where should your awareness be? And there's not any one right answer here, by the way. There's a few options.
Well, since Ball's kind of let's see, who else is with him? One person's dead, so Kiriko and Farah, Farah and Mercy are up in the air. So he's only got one person helping him. So maybe I should go help them kill the Ball so that we can get back on the card.
Yeah, love it. Okay, you can't really deal with the pharmacy, but what about the Kiriko?
That's an option too.
Yeah, could shoot her a little bit, right? So, I mean, even just the pharmacy, like you can't shoot the pharmacy, but can you kind of look at where she's shooting rockets, make sure they're not hitting you. Peel off your team if you need to, right? But yeah, I like what you said about the Ball. That's probably the best thing that you could do right now. Deal with the Ball, deal with the Kiriko, one of those targets. But what happens is, and this is a really common issue with a lot of people, even in higher ranks, where because Overwatch is chaotic and stuff gets crazy, you tend to kind of get flustered and just start doing random things.
Yeah,
like right now, what are you doing right now?
Just going back and forth, not sure which one to shoot at, to be honest.
Right. And it's not very easy to decide either, but you need to figure something out and just roll with it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. He who hesitates is lost.
Exactly.
Any decision is better than no decision.
Exactly. Pick something, and if it sucks, if it was the wrong decision, at least you get some clear feedback on it rather than vague, implications. This is very clear what you're doing, right? Now, is this what you should be doing? I'm not sure. Probably, actually, yeah.
It's not bad. Me and Reaper, I think, are going to kill this Kiriko unless she comes out.
But this is definitely a clear goal, clear plan here. Something we're trying to do. So yeah.
Right.
I'm sorry. You're lying to me with your mechanics. This guy's got aim hack. I just know it. Look at this. Seriously. I'm gonna 0.25 it. You get the boop. You line her up in the air. She bounces off the wall and she comes back in. Look at this. Double headshot, body shot. Even your tracking there was good.
Not too shabby.
Not too shabby. Yeah, really not too shabby. Now we're on cart. Whoop. This is what we talked about with the beat earlier, right? What do you think about this beat?
Sort of proactive because we're about to be in the middle of a fight now. Everybody's here.
You are in the middle of a fight, right?
Yeah.
It's brilliant. Yeah. This is a great beat. Now your team plays hyper aggressive. And even if you don't get a kill, you get a lot of space. You force a lot of cooldowns. You prevent any potential kills onto your team at that point in time. Stay focused. Stay focused. Yep, we're on the Mercy. Okay. Stay focused. Stay focused. Stay focused. Nice. Oh, she gets it off. That's okay. Stay focused. Stay focused. You got it. You got it. It's situations like these where your mechanics look bad.
Right.
This
she is so
looks
hard
fine.
to shoot. She's so mobile.
It's not what you think it is. This looks okay. Even this looks okay. Right? It's this. I'm gonna play this 0.25 and watch how uncomfortable this looks. You see that little weird delay in your dragging? Like your crosshair just doesn't move. I don't know why that is.
I think I had my sense pretty low, like it was 500 or 600. I would say 600 DPI, and then like
Did you run on a mouse
3%.
pad?
Yeah, I have like for card game mouse pad, so
Okay.
it's like huge. So I
Okay.
had plenty of room to move, but I think that was a little too slow of sensitivity,
Could be,
honestly.
because that's what I'm wondering there, you know. And we've had those moments a few times in this VOD so far where everything looks fine, and then it looks like you just take your hand off the mouse, where you're probably moving it or something like that. That needs to be
It's
obviously
literally probably
practiced.
me picking it up and sliding it because like I
Yep.
ran out of room or something.
Yep, gotcha.
Possibly.
Nice. How do we not win this? Stay focused. Oh, the mines. Oh no.
This might be a win, as a matter of fact. I didn't get to pick necessarily the
It
exact
doesn't matter.
ones that I
Win or
wanted.
loss doesn't matter.
Yeah, like I'm doing some bad stuff regardless. I'm
Exactly.
in bronze, so
Exactly.
there's room to learn.
Exactly. Again, mechanics here are fine. You're hitting decent shots. Good. Now these situations, this is where being cart bot is a little bit more forgivable, right? What is she doing?
So far away.
I know. Good move. We have another beat. Maybe. I'm just wondering what kills you. Something must kill you guys. You could beat this one if you wanted to. Beat it. Beat it. Beat it. Beat it. Beat it. Beat it. Yeah! Oh, nice. Oh, you C9! Oh, you ever heard of the term C9?
I have, but I don't know that I know what it means.
It means when you lose the objective even though you didn't lose the fight.
Okay, fair
So
enough.
ball goes spin to win. In fact, it looked like you guys were in a pretty good spot to win it, but he just boops everybody off, and then you guys don't touch. That's why you lose. That's the general definition for it. Okay, so let's be vaguely specific. Let's not talk about Lucio, but let's find some very specific skills that you need to practice. Not just, oh, you're bad at this, but what needs to be practiced specifically, so I can start typing in your Discord chat here. What do you say?
Situational awareness, just in a general sense.
Okay, how do you practice that?
Well, now that I have the sensitivity a bit higher so that it's easier for me to do, just make sure if I'm not shooting anything, I'm at least looking around what's near.
Flanks, surroundings. Yes, that needs to be a better habit for you. 100%. Okay, keep going.
Let's see. Making sure I'm using the situational awareness to look out for better opportunities to do what I'm already trying to do, like harass the back line, which is generally good with every hero when you get an opportunity to do it in a smart way. Those are the two big ones.
Agreed. What about checking your HP?
That was another one, yeah. And with the screen turning red, that honestly ought to be something that is not so difficult. I just need to pay attention to it more in the heat of the moment. But really, I need to react faster. I think I realize that I'm taking damage, but I just, like, somehow it's not clicking that one shot is going to kill me, so I need to do it now and not in 2 seconds.
Okay, those are the big three, I think, for me. If I were to throw in one more, maybe proactive thought about ult, what you want to do with it, you know, before you get thrown into those hectic situations. You already kind of have a game plan of what you're looking for, right? Does that kind of make sense?
Definitely.
Okay. Do you have any questions from the strictly gameplay thing before we actually look at the form?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, let's do this then. So we did things a little bit backwards here, and it's a little bit unfortunate because generally, especially if you're a bronze player, most of your issues have to do with how you're approaching the game. And I think even issues is a bad way of looking at it. Like, there was nothing wrong with me when I spent my first couple hundred hours on Overwatch. I was just inexperienced, and I just needed to learn the game, right? So there's nothing wrong with you. We just need to find out, like, what the next step is, right? And can we be more efficient with our time playing? So here's a question for you. What got you interested in coaching? You talked about a little bit about, first time getting professional coaching, want to get a little bit better. Okay, but what's your history with Overwatch, I guess, particular? When did you start playing? How long have you been playing? So on.
Let's see. I picked it up. I originally started playing on console, I want to say about 5 years ago. It had
Yep.
been out for a little while.
Yep.
Um, Reinhardt was the character that got me interested.
Yep.
So I started and I do when I play tank, I usually play Sigma Ryan. So I've stuck with that
Right.
since the beginning. Um, just a really fun game, variety of heroes and how you need to be aware of the different team comps and stuff. It just really piqued my interest. There's not too many games out there like it.
Yeah.
So I just kind of dicked around playing on console a bit. Started watching some streaming content from like the Overwatch League and some guides and stuff, and just became more interested in getting smarter about the game,
Uh-huh.
so I could have a better time playing. And then wound up moving over to PC, which made the
When was that?
mechanical side of things. Um, I say I've been playing on PC now about 2 years.
Okay. Keep going.
So that definitely made the mechanical side of things a little easier as far as like being able to aim and actually move around, execute what I'm thinking about doing a little bit better than I can with a controller. Um, and yeah, I've consumed many hours of guides and stuff like that on YouTube and so forth. So I have like
It
a general
shows.
idea of what's supposed to happen, but I know that I'm not executing it
Right.
properly, which is why I'm looking for some another pair of eyes for
Sure. Sure.
some
And that's
insight.
the catch too, because whenever I asked you questions, you came up with answers. And good answers too. So the limiting factor for you is not knowledge, it's execution and practice. Or how you're
Right.
applying those things. Keep going, sorry.
Um, and so yeah, so then when I was watching one of the more recent Cager guides, I had seen you before a few times, and
Yeah.
I forget which one of his it was, but there's been several. But I decided to look up your channel, and you got some really great content.
Appreciate
And
it.
I think your understanding of the game is very I don't know. It's probably, I think the way you explain things really is the best part about the way you
Sick.
coach. It's very, you're able to break it down to different people so that they can understand exactly what they need
Sick.
to do and what they need to be thinking about.
I've had a lot of
So
practice at it, right? I mean, it's the
I
same thing
figured,
when I'm talking with you about like where your strengths are. It requires practice, and so that's why like you can have. I've known a lot of really knowledgeable coaches that don't communicate as well as I do. It's a lot smarter than I am, but I just have practiced and practiced and practiced and practiced and practiced. It's not Overwatch. It's just unique to life, So
right?
for you, this is where I want to delve a little bit deeper into like what your goals are, because I know a lot of people that are very happy with just being very casual and just being pretty not great at the game because they enjoy consuming educational content and they enjoy playing a lot of different heroes and they just enjoying Overwatch as a casual. Like there are things that I do in my life, games and recreational activities, that I just don't care if I'm that good at. I just enjoy being casual and having fun with it. Where do you fall on
Right.
that spectrum with Overwatch?
That's tough, and I guess part of wanting to do this coaching session is to help me figure that out.
Sure. Sure.
I don't have any aspirations to be like Overwatch League or
Of course.
anything. I don't think that's ever going to happen. But um, I don't know. It's fun enough to play, and I understand enough about the game that I feel like it would be a rewarding experience to see if I could
Sure.
improve my skills
Sure.
with this.
So let the answer whenever you don't know is to experiment. That's always the thing, because I don't think anybody knows. I didn't know when I was coaching. I was trying to think like I was playing the game a little bit, but what ended up happening is I would just get frustrated because I wasn't playing well enough for what I think I was. And what I experimented with and I actually figured out playing is I enjoy the game when I play a couple of games every couple of days and I play only one hero. And I really focus on just like learning that hero better so I can coach a little bit better. That's where I found the most fun. But it took me a couple of months to figure that one out for me. You need to find out where you need to be, where you need to be, where you maximize your improvement and maximize your enjoyment of the game, or you find that balance. And so what I would do is experiment. And this is what I would experiment with. First one first. How much time do you have to play the game on average per day, per week? Do you warm up? Just fill me in on that detail, and then we can start to really delve into some experimentation.
I usually have, let's see, probably about 2 hours or so. Usually
Okay.
after I get back
Perfect.
from gym,
Yep.
I'll hop on for a little while, and then a little bit later in the evening.
Okay, 2 hours. 2 hours per day. Do you warm up?
Usually, occasionally, if I'm being lazy, I'll just hop in quick play and
Sure.
play a game and just call that warm up.
Okay.
Sometimes I'll do Vaxta or the JWB 5K or whatever it is.
Yep. Have you ever touched your foot in a try hard?
Yes, I have used that on occasion as something to just to get in the game a little bit beforehand as well.
Sure. Maybe even worth giving Arcade Deathmatch a shot as well. Those I would recommend over Quick Play. If you're the type of person that gets bored easily, I would avoid Vaxta because it's a little dull, or some of the codes can get a little dull.
Right. The JWB 5K or whatever it was called, that one seems to be the movement of the bots is really more simulates what's actually going to happen in the game. It seems like.
Yeah. When I played, I just grinded tryhard because that was way more fun to me than doing like some of the code stuff.
Right, and it's real people too.
Right. So I would recommend trying that, but I would definitely not do quick play if you can. Okay.
Gotcha.
Now you brought this up earlier, and we didn't really delve into it because we were focused on the gameplay. But you talked about ranked discouragement.
Right.
Why don't you play ranked as much as you do? Because this is a quick play code. That's a red flag as it is, right? Why don't you play ranked?
Well, I guess I figure, I don't know. That's a good question because you got to play a lot of games these days to even be able to see if you're going to, move up or not. You don't get that immediate.
And it's not just that. It's not just
SR
that.
feedback.
But we're talking about the quality of the game as well. People try a little bit harder in ranked. And
yes,
think about return on investment for your queue time. You quick play, you got attack or defense, and you're done. Ranked, you got both. It's a little bit more efficient, right?
This is true.
That's why you rank. It's not about, the rank. If you're playing to improve quick play, if quick play was exactly like ranked and people tried, it just didn't have a rank, it wouldn't matter what you played, right? It's just a slight gap in effort, and the attack and defense efficiency, right? So why don't you play ranked?
I guess I feel like I may as well just practice in quick play more. If I'm bronze 5, which is the lowest tier of the lowest rank, maybe there's shit I need to work on before I bother with that. I guess maybe is my thought process.
Right. And you see the problem with that though, right? You see the problem with that
because at the same time, I don't want to say that I don't belong in bronze, but I feel like if I played more volume of matches, maybe I would not be.
Right, exactly. And the thing is like if you want to get out of that rank, if you want to improve yourself, you need the highest quality practice. But you're avoiding the highest quality practice right now. You see what I'm saying?
Kind of a cognitive dissonance thing.
Right, a little bit. Now, when I avoided ranked earlier on, it was through, honestly, just a little bit of ranked anxiety, to be honest with you. I was spooked out. The music freaked me out, I'm not going to lie. I'd be like, and I'm like, oh, no. I was like, shoot, I got to win. I was like hard calming and like, I was so stressed out, right? And I had to just eventually play through it over and over again. I remember I got a coaching session with Iowa Ducks, and he's like, what's wrong with you? Play ranked. Stop being scared of it. Just play. Cue everything. Every single day until you stop scared. And I got over it, right? For you, it might not be that. For you, it might just be like, oh, well, I feel like we just might as well queue quick play because it doesn't really matter. Well, it does. It's slightly worse practice.
No, when I click that competitive button, my heart rate definitely goes up. So the anxiety is definitely
right. But a little bit of anxiety is not a bad thing. That's what kind of keeps us sharp, right? But then what you'll do is through just sheer reps, sheer effort, you'll start to realize that I'm still going in there and playing, but it doesn't really matter. You see, ranked... And I know people are not going to like to hear this, but ranked is not competitive in the literal sense. You're not playing for anything besides a shiny little number. But let me ask you a question. If you go on a 15-20 game loss streak in Bronze 5, where are you going? Bronze 5.
Yeah.
Right? If you go on a 15-20 game win streak and you get to Silver 5, and then you lose another 15-20 games and you go right back to Bronze 5, what can you do the next day?
Win some more games. And
play some more games. So you queue again.
Yeah.
Did you play sports at all or anything in high school, college, or whatever?
When I was younger, yeah, some hockey and baseball and stuff.
Games are hard. You know why? Because you play the game, then the game's done, and that's it. you go home.
Right.
But that doesn't apply to Overwatch. You lose a game, you lose a couple of games, you play bad, guess what? You can either do it again right then, or you can do it again the next day. There is no one ranked game that ever matters. Ever. Not one. It doesn't matter if you're going for rank 1 and top 500, right? You lose that game, right? You just re-queue. I mean, Aspen is very famous for like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, for getting to 4.7k SR. And she told me when I was interviewing her, I think she was like one game away from 4.7 like 6 times over the course of like 2 weeks. Wow. And she lost, but she eventually got there, right? So that's the mindset with you too. You need to maximize your quality of practice and stop worrying about whether you're bronze 5 or bronze 4. Just play the game, play the game. I think like that can also hurt your enjoyment of it as well, because you're avoiding something, but it's not worth avoiding. Go out there and play it. You know what I'm saying? And that's why, like, you have to look at how, like, are there any other reasons that you find comp? Is the voice chat toxic? Are people like trashing you for picking Lucio or trashing you for playing poorly?
Not as often as you'd expect, honestly.
Good. Good, because you have to find a way to avoid that, because that to me that's one of the reasons why a lot of times when I'm even in like diamond stuff and Masters lobbies, I have chat sometimes muted, because I got people saying rude things like, "Oh, you're not the real Coach Spilo, you're the trash, you're garbage," because it's like I don't have time for that. You know what I'm saying? I don't have time for that foolishness. I'll join voice when we're going to be calling real stuff, but if it gets distracting, I'm just here to have fun and I'm here to learn, right? So
exactly.
I guess for you, it's like you need to. It's kind of like both worlds that you need to practice right now. It's your approach to fun and your approach to improvement. Like you said, that cognitive dissonance. It's right now. It's you're avoiding something, but don't avoid it. It's I'm telling you, it's more fun. It is more fun to play ranked than quick play. I played quick play the other day after playing ranked all day, and it was just annoying me. It was just like nobody was like even trying like at all. You know what I'm saying? It's fun when people try. I don't care if we win or lose. Just try.
I think I'm like, I'll practice in quick play and then go play competitive.
Right.
And really, I should be just practicing, quote unquote. Right. Like we're doing the real thing, which is doing the real thing.
Right, exactly. And it's a drill too. Like when you're drilling stuff in hockey and you're drilling stuff in ranked, it's the same thing. When you go into a ranked game and you're drilling, like let's look through our list here, HP awareness, right? Yeah, you might be kind of bad at the other crap because you're drilling HP awareness, but we don't care. One ranked game doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? If your team gets irritated at you because you're tracking your HP awareness and you messed up a couple beats, who cares? Overall, in the long run, that's going to make you a better player and make you a better teammate. You kind of see what I'm saying?
Right.
It's in your team's best interests that you're a little bit tunnel vision this game. Or if it's maybe focusing on your ultimate and your position gets a little bad. We don't really care. We're playing for the long run. And that's what really needs to happen. I think there's like this general consensus that like, or not consensus, but this general idea that like, ranked is like what we playing live or die. But it doesn't make any sense, because even people that treat it that way play hundreds of games per season. But I mean, can you imagine if you played hockey and you played like 300 games per season?
Like, that'd be wild.
Yeah, that'd be wild, and nobody would, and people would stop taking each game so seriously, and that's ultimately what happens with the rank. Like, it's just not reasonable to treat every game like a life or death situation, and it's not good either. Okay, does that all make sense?
Definitely.
Now,
that's a good perspective.
We've talked all about that, but we have to bring that all up into a tight, light little package, and we have to knock on the devil's door, because we're about to talk about your hero pool. So, all that being said, I want you to tell me why your hero pool sucks from an improvement standpoint. Focus only on the negatives for right now.
Too many to reasonably be able to practice well with the amount of time that I have.
Exactly. I mean, I was expecting a little bit of a bullet point list, but you went and knocked out all the bullet points in one point. Right, that's perfect. Exactly. Okay, so then let's talk about the positives of having a lot of different heroes in the pool.
Well, for one thing, I have a good understanding, even if I'm not good at the hero, of their cooldowns, how they work.
It helps you to understand things. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, this is good. It's kind of fun. Right?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. There's all different kinds of ways to play this game, so each hero is unique, and yeah, it's fun to experiment, play something you haven't played too much before, or something just different from what you're used to.
Right.
Like, I usually shoot people. Let me try whacking people with a hammer. That's a lot of fun.
Without context, that sentence is a little bit disturbing. Okay, so so let me ask you a question. Can we talk about like extremes, right? What you're doing playing for fun is full flex, no improvement. 100% and 0%. Playing for improvement, one trick a hero, maybe not that much fun, but really good for improvement. But what if we were to like do this? What if you were to like play like 3 heroes? We're talking about like 80% fun, right? And like 75%, just give a random number, improvement.
Well, let's say,
You know?
okay, so for messing around, like if I'm just want to play quick play for fun, like
Yeah.
I'll pick whatever seems kind of good or whatever I want to play.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm being serious, I really only mess with like 3 heroes from each, and the third is usually just something I pick if it seems like it's really going to be a good counter to whatever they have.
Right. But you're killing me with the 3 heroes from each.
Yeah, I suppose so. It's still
Because every role plays a little bit differently, and if you were going to play 2 different roles, we still don't want more than 3 heroes. It would be maybe 1 tank, 2 supports, or something like that, or you know what I'm saying?
fair
2 tanks,
enough.
1 support, right? And there's also nothing wrong with seasonal approach too, to where like maybe for a couple of weeks you just play tank and rank, and you see how much you like that, or if you get bored of it, try support and find where you really, because like ultimately it all needs to come down to like what you really enjoy. Like I never bully people to make picks that they don't want to make.
Right.
If you want a one trick Torbjorn, be my guest. You can get to top 500 doing that. You know what I'm saying? So you need to find where your nuance lies. And so
I think I could be okay with picking either like Sigma or Reinhardt and then like practicing Lucio secondarily and then Baptiste as a primary
okay.
support.
So
If that seems like an okay approach.
it's okay. It's not perfect, but it's better than what you're doing right now, right? So try it. And if you still feel like you're not super happy with your improvement time, like you're only getting in like 1 Baptiste game a day, it's not enough to get good practice at, right? So then maybe we got to go down to 3. Maybe you spend a week and you only play tank, and you find out, hey, that was fun. Hey, that was really boring. I don't want to do that again, right? Then try it with support. Okay, wow, that was really good. Or no, I was boring too. I kind of want to go back to playing 2 roles, but maybe I could just do like Ryan, Sigma, Baptiste, right? So I cut the Lucio out for a period of time, right?
Right.
But you got to find the answer to that yourself. I don't know the answer to that. I can tell you what's good and what's bad, but it's like let's put it this way. I'm the doctor saying you need to avoid sugar, you need to get enough sleep, you need to do this and that. Okay, go forth and interpret, right?
Right.
Nobody's perfect with that. For me, I got a soft spot for nachos. You know what I'm saying? I get those organic tortilla chips and like the bag of cheese and stuff. Like, oh my gosh, it's like I can't avoid it, right? But I actually don't. I've grown out of my sweet tooth. I can do without sugar for months at a time, right?
You're better than me.
Right. My dad's the opposite. My dad's got the worst sweet tooth in the history of the world. But you know what I'm saying, right? I'm also pretty good with sleep, but I'm not super good with stress. I work too intensely. I wake up at night thinking about work. You know what I'm saying? So like,
right.
But you gotta have to find like what works for you and interpret it as best as you possibly can. So for you, you don't need the answer to that right now, but you do need the game plan for this week. And then at the end of this week, reevaluate. Find out what you want to try the week after that. And then try a little bit of DPS. Maybe you don't hate DPS as much as you thought. What are your favorite DPS heroes?
Soldier's pretty fun. I mean, he's well-rounded.
Sure. One trick soldier for a day.
Right.
Play nothing but soldier for 3 hours. See how it goes. You're like, that was not that fun. Okay, well, now you know. That's what I'm saying. But like, and then find your balance there. Find your balance. But I think it's all about doing better than what you're doing right now and interpreting it as you would. Because right now, I don't think you're having as much fun as you could be, and nor are you certainly not improving as much as you could be either.
I think you're right on both of those.
And I think like, because to me ultimately when I am like, the reason why I was so attentive to figuring out how I wanted to play rank personally is because when I figured out that I could just one trick a hero, focus on just learning it, I actually had a lot more fun than flexing a lot. It actually was a little bit more fun. Now that's me, that's not you, but what you'll find out is when you maximize your improvement with a little bit of fun, you'll often find out that actually is more fun general. Because you feel like I'm actually getting the reps in on the hero, and you might find out you'll get to a level of understanding with the hero that makes it more fun to play. Does that make sense?
It does, because sometimes I will switch thinking that perhaps X or Y hero is better for the situation, when really, if I just improved on whatever I'm playing, I could honestly do better with whatever it happens.
Exactly. You're bronze 5, respectfully. It doesn't matter what you play. You know, every hero can play, and like you can understand that you need to learn on the adaptations of the heroes that you're playing and how to adjust your play style and how to figure out problems and not give up and swap to another hero. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You need to focus on, and ultimately, oftentimes that will put you on a hero that you just don't enjoy playing as much, right? So like if I'm playing Zenyatta and I'm getting dove by a Tracer, right? Instead of adapting, if I just swap to Moira, now I'm really miserable, right?
Yeah.
I don't like playing Moira. I don't know if you like playing Moira, but I don't. So like it's that simple. Okay.
Yeah.
Sleep is definitely a little bit on the lower end, but you know, being a busy guy, stuff happens. But 6.5 is better than 6 to 7.5, right? Just a slightly more than where you're at will always help.
Right.
Do you have any questions?
I don't think so. I think those main points are going to be the perfect amount of stuff for me to focus on for the near future here.
Sure. I want you to keep me updated with how stuff goes, and obviously, if you do have any questions, just shoot them my way. My DMs are always open. And
you got it, man.
You have the replay code rule as well. So you know how today you gave me the replay code, right? So what I want you to do in the future is if you run into a situation or a game where you're like, I'm not sure what I should have been doing here, or what do you think about this, or how does this look, or how do I play with this hero? Heck, it doesn't even have to be Lucio. Maybe you send me in a Rhine VOD, right? You send me in the replay code with like 4 timestamps, right? And be like, 12:40 into the code, 2:30, 16:18, and then the first fight. What do you think I should be doing? And I'll give you some written feedback in a couple of days. Sound good?
Awesome.
So a little bit of extra follow-up. Yeah, no problem whatsoever. And like I said, if you have any questions, shoot them my way. And let me actually send you the post-coaching checklist too. I usually send that later, but I'll just send that now. So worth the skim. It's mostly up to date. I have to go back and do a 2023 version, but worth giving that one a skim as well.
Awesome.
No other questions?
I don't think so, man.
Okay.
It's been a great session. I appreciate you.
I had a great time too. Yeah, I appreciate you as well. Like I said, keep leaning into those mechanics. I think your sensitivity from what you said, I think it was around just under 4K EDPI is probably perfect for all the heroes that you're playing. Maybe a little low for a hero like Reinhardt, but it's not going to be an issue whatsoever with Reinhardt. I think you're totally
fine. For him, I do crank it up slightly higher than that. I have noticed. That's good.
Okay, sounds good. But yeah, you should be good to go. Your play time is definitely enough if you're using it efficiently. So for you, it's going to be all about, I want you to just experiment. DPS, support, all rank play. Do I play 5 heroes, 4 heroes, 3 heroes, 2 heroes? Do I one trick? Do I play tank? Do I play support? Do I play both? Do I focus on just support but play 3 heroes in support? I don't know. Go forth, experiment. Keep me up to date with it. Find that balance. Sound good?
You got it.
All right, mate. Keep in touch and good luck. All right.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate
Cheers.
it.
You're very welcome. See you. All right, that was the Green Man, support extraordinaire. Hope you guys found that one fun. I don't know. To me, it's like, I think a little bit of humility as a coach is good, because I don't really know what's best for everybody. I'm just trying to, as best as I possibly can, ask the questions so that you guys can kind of figure out that for yourselves. Because the difficult thing for me is, it's like, I can have a pretty good guess, and especially if I spend a lot of time with a person, I can have a pretty good guess. But ultimately, we want you guys to be able to figure these things out for yourselves, and that to me is the goal. So that was a lot of fun. Okay, let's here's what we're at. So we have the Overwatch World Cup review in a little under 30 minutes, I guess. So let's do some Ask Spilo in the meantime, to keep ourselves busy, and then we'll get into that review. Hey Varashi, how's it going, mate? Good to see everybody, by the way. Let's do some Ask Spilo, and then we'll take a look. Actually, chat, question. Does anybody in chat know if the recent patch wiped the replay codes? The recent, the little patch thing they did they wipe replay codes? Does anybody know? Because I'm really spooked, because it would suck majorly. Can somebody double check? Because I would be like crushed if I like relog or whatever, or like and we like wait to do the review and the stupid SAMITO codes just completely wipe out, and all this is just wasted. I know I'm looking at them, but I also know that they will sometimes stay up technically longer than they should. This has happened every single patch, where if there is an actual hard patch, I can stay in game for like an extra 45 minutes, but I'm scared. They are gone. Oh, crud. All right, chat. Should we just do the review now? I'm scared. I'm literally like sweating here. Like, okay, maybe we should just do the review now. I'd hate to start early, but okay, yeah. We're just gonna go now. We're just gonna go now. Sorry, guys. It would be such a shame. I only have the one code logged in, so we'll start with this. We'll try and load in the rest of them. Ooh, okay. Let's talk a little bit about this matchup. Big matchup here. Okay, so they go on a Zen, Bap Zen, on a Zen. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm going to go over a very general viewpoint of exactly what was going on, how the compositional matchups should play, how they were actually played, mistakes on both sides, things that were done well on both sides. One thing I want to make very clear, we really don't know how seriously either team was taking this, especially on the side of the Eternal. So it's just a World Cup trials. It's nothing really that serious. This isn't an owl match, and we also don't know how long these guys have been actually scrimmaging either. So don't take this as like gospel here. Let's not take this as an opportunity to crap on the players for the Eternal. You know, they're out there probably just having a good time. What I am going to talk about and use this more as like a springboard to discuss the compositional matchup and to try and find out why, even if they weren't taking it seriously, why things didn't work out for the Eternal. Sam's team sound pretty sweaty? Okay, so here's the matchup. The matchup here is actually really, really, really interesting because the matchup is all about two things. One, can you access backline? And two, can you actually match their flankers? Because the theory of the composition for the Eternal is about to create multiple off angles of approach from both of your DPS, your tank, and even your supports, and to try and control the entire map. There should never, ever, ever be any member of Team Blue on a flank because they should be able to get hunted down by Sombra, Tracer, Brawl, and even a Discord, whatever, and killed. So what that means is that Team Blue should be able to, should not be able to take angles and flanks and should have to group up, okay? When they're grouped up, that allows Dove, Mouthful, Vulcan to take any engage, slam engage, flank angle, hack angle, whatever that they possibly could want to, okay? And at the same time, if Rack Attack and Luke are positioned correctly, one of the supports you can rush down and kill, but that enables the other support to play hyper aggressively along with the flankers and the tank and get punishment. So in theory, if Team Blue wants to, they can run down any support or any that they want to. They can run down any target that they want to and kill it, if it's support, right? However, the question is not if they can do it, it's what it's going to cost them to run down a target and kill it. So if they see Ana, they can literally ant speed, wall, lamp, shift, pin, everything, and they will kill that target. But if they just run it down mid, they will die to the Sombra, to the Tracer, to the Ball, to the Discord, to whatever, all along the way. They'll slowly die along the line. So for Team Red, it's going to be about creating those quandaries where it's like, we're getting hit from here and here, and oh, we need to get the Ana, but we're low HP back here, right? That's going to be about doing that. And for Team Blue, it's going to be about trying to, when they can, get their Mei, Cassidy, Lucio, and so on set up so that they don't hard lose the flanks as much. If you can hit a body shot and Mouthful, force him to grab a health back, great. If you can get a little bit of early pressure on Vulcan, prevent him from getting the slam that he wants from a boop, maybe take out 100 of his shields, maybe a little bit of 50 of his armor before he engages, like preemptively putting pressure out, and then try and bait the Anazen to play more aggressively because you're focused on controlling the divers. And then when the Anazen have to walk forward, decisively committing on a target and killing off that target if they get too aggressively. It's very mechanically demanding, very space control. It's all about controlling angles and flanks as best as you possibly can. Now, the interesting thing, listen to this, guys. Interesting thing, chat, is that as a when we're talking about range, which comp has better poke, which comp has better range threat, actually it's Team Blue, unless Luke, Mino, and Rack Attack have a sightline. Then it's a little bit tricky, right? For example, if Team Blue can play to avoid Zenyatta LOS, they can play it very patiently, taking angles and shooting, right? So then Luke Mino walks forward, But then Luke being able to walk forward means that Team Blue has an opportunity to rush him down. So it's about finding that balance of, can we use our cast, May, BAP, poke damage, range damage on matching the enemy flankers without peeking the enemy's Zenyatta. And then if the Zenyatta is peeking, is that Zenyatta rushable, or can we rotate to where he can't see us? So I know we've talked about a lot of like big picture understanding, but it's gonna be about how they position, how they match, how they mark. Let's take a look. So they're going to rotate clear top. That's really, really good. If they match them there, obviously they just run down the supports. Easy peasy. And I have not seen any of this. So Sombra's on the flank. Looks like we tried to get a wall either on Ana or to wall off for LOS. We're going to control high ground a little bit. Constantly scouting for ball. Constantly scouting for Tracer, Sombra. Now, one thing I don't love from Team Red's rollout here is I actually don't love the fact that their supports are stacked here. Because if you think about it, if your supports are stacked, it means it's very easy for them to run at them and run at both. For example, if I run down down mid and run at the supports, I can wall off and deal with Ana and Zen at the same time. I don't have to worry about, oh, I'm running down on Zen, I'm going to get flank naded from here, or I'm going to get flank naded from here, and vice versa with Discord and damage. So I don't love the support rollout here. Team Blue doesn't have any mobile dive threats that would punish their supports for being isolated. So it's actually very safe for Ana Zen to be isolated versus Team Blue's composition if they're with a flanker. So I don't like this. I would like Luke to be rotating all far here with ball and holding this angle here, maybe even like back here, right? To where it's a lot, yes, there's a little bit of isolation, but nothing on Team Blue is able to punish that isolation fast enough. So right there, do you see that wall? It blocks off Discord LOS, Discord damage, Ana healing, Ana nades, Ana sleeps, all of that. That's too much value from one wall. And so now they can go to point, take a 5v3, shoot ball, shoot Sombra, shoot Tracer. Not a bad engage. Okay, so this is a good engage. Let's actually check this out from Team Red. So Vegas here does a really nice job. Look at Vulcan. Vulcan gets a good slam. What's good about this slam? Well, we have a Sombra angle. Unfortunately, she was scouted a little bit early, but not the end of the world. She's at least here. Tracer's here. Ana has an angle. Not a great angle, but okay. And Zen's on the flank. Do you see this? I expect this engage is probably going to force some cooldowns from the side of SAMITO. Let's just say SAMITO's team. Just SAMITO. This is good. There it is, right? Great follow-up. Great setup from Team Red. Now, Luke has to be careful here because we don't want to go so aggressive that we can get punished. So I don't love this wide swing. I'd love him to stay in the corner a little bit better. There it is. There's the nade. And there's the pursuit. I just think we're a little bit slow on the peel, honestly. So this is a good engage. The nade from Rack. Let's check out the nade. The nade just misses, to be honest. Yeah, this is mechanical play. A little bit of mechanical play. So the nade isn't good. The nade comes in late and it doesn't hit where we want, right? So that's unfortunate. Imagine if we had nade right now, guys. Do you see this? It's over. It's legitimately, the fight is over for Team Blue. Because look at this. They're running. This is exactly what we talked about at the start of the VOD. They're running down a Zen, but they're not considering Sombra, Tracer Ball, or Ana. Not even a slam. This is over. If you hit this nade here, it's over. The fight is legitimately lost. And then from a mechanical standpoint, besides that, we're just a little slow on healing our Zen. Just a little slow. So unfortunate we didn't hit that nade opportunity. We didn't get enough of a pressure. Like, I'm also curious like why Malthul wasn't there to hit that rotate harder either. It feels like we put a little too much time on the lamp. Yeah, so we just don't scout the rotate. Like, these guys should have died in this rotate. I mean, look at Cass, look at Batiste, guys. Look at this. 1 HP. 1 HP. So close. So close. So a little bit unfortunate. Let's keep going. And then again, just a little bit of mechanics right there. Like, Dove just gets his head blown off. Unfortunate. Rack is not an Ana player. Oh no, this is a bad stagger. Oh, he gets the kill on Neb. Yikes. That's not good. That shouldn't happen. Vulcan goes Doom. Doom just means, I mean, Doom is okay. I don't think Doom is necessarily better than versus this comp though. Like, May is a little bit annoying with the slow, But I think Ball can do a lot. I actually think I would prefer... It's probably a hero strength thing. Doom is a little worse than the dive mirror. But I think Ball is actually better versus Ryan. I think there's more consistent engages, more consistent damage. The weakness of Ball... the weakness of Ball is... I don't know. I don't love Doom. I don't love Doom. I think Doom is fine, though. Doom is fine. It's not the best pick. Okay, so Ana's still late. They do get the speed on the BAP though, which is nice. Created a little bit of space. Okay, so let's set up our next engage here. We need to chill for a second. Yeah, this is silly again. Do you guys see the problem here? It just doesn't seem like we've really earned this pressure from Luke. I mean, look at Luke's positioning, y'all. Like, it's very, very aggressive. It's stacked, and it's too close. It's too close. I really feel like Luke has not earned this position at all. And he should have died there. He really should have died there. Like right now, unironically, assuming there's no sound barrier, Luke should actually swing right here and look to assassinate backline with his flankers. A little bit more distance, better sightline. It's a good window for space. They do get the pick with the angles. Great timing from the flankers. Luke and Rack are on slight off angles, which helps a lot. There's the beat. We just need to survive. Luke's not ready for it. Oh, no. Luke's not ready for it. Luke's not ready for it. Luke's not ready for it. So we wanted to push aggressively here. We should have already pushed aggressively. So right now, there's wall, there's ice block, there's shield, there's shift, there's window. Now's your opportunity as Zenyatta to walk forward, to literally walk into melee range here. They don't. We're too slow. And so by the time we push now, they have hit their next spike. They've hit their next spike. So now their next spike, they have beat. So they can now run over. And so Luke thinks, we have an advantage, let's push, but they actually don't have the advantage anymore. And then Rack probably should nano the Zen here. Should definitely nano the Zen here. What happens? No, that was a big mistake. We actually had the opportunity to nano the Zen. We just didn't. We should definitely nano the Zen here. Because if you nano the Zen survives, and they've committed the beat on a target that's not going to die. I don't know if we thought that we had trance. That's probably why we didn't nano this, was we thought that we had trance, but he doesn't have trance. This fight's lost. It's over. Yeah, huge goof ups from the supports. Well, it's not so much that Nano Zen's strong, is it that would have shut down the play. It must have been a miscommunication with trance, though. That's going to be my expectation. Which is the big deal. So they're setting up. EMP. I like the split support positioning from Ana and Zen. Like, you see the value right here, right? Mei is walled off Ana, but she's not walled off Zen, okay? EMP is not great, but it's okay. I would have liked a little bit more patience. So what you can do, so let's look at the situation here. Right here. I don't see any reason why you should not EMP the BAP up here, honestly. And maybe because your Doomfist should be able to follow up, probably. But then let me ask you a question, guys. Yeah, that's just a mistake. It's just a mistake. He's already behind cover here. If, for example, if let's say the enemy supports are playing super far back, you could just do a dive in SAMITO here. Like, look at this, guys. You don't even need to use EMP. Just manual hack SAMITO, force ice wall, force ice block, probably force lamp as well. Then the enemy supports have to walk forward, and then you can set up for your EMP afterwards. If the enemy supports are playing super safe, they have to give up something. They can't support SAMITO and Clone Man like they should be able to because they're playing so far split. So don't get, if they're baiting you. They're baiting you to go on them, and you fell for the bait. If they can't cheat like this for free. They have to give up something. They have to give up the support they have on the DPS and frontline. And I don't think Vegas recognizes that very well. And it forces a little bit of a rush DMP. I think Vulcan takes a lot of damage. I want to know what pokes Vulcan out so heavily. Yeah, so Vulcan unfortunately takes a lot of damage pre-fight, so he's really not able to engage this one comfortably. Oh man, and Dove's Translocator is in Narnia. What is going on here? Really far back. Way too far back. And Malfoy gets tapped. That's a little bit unfortunate. He didn't want to use recall there because he thought he was on the cover. It's like a pixel there. That's a little bit unfortunate. But now blue is like, they know Sombra's out. They know Zen's dead, or Tracer's dead, so they can actually walk forward now. Luke Mino can catch this with Trance though. I want to see Luke playing really aggressively here. That wasn't so good. Yeah, and what happens with Rack? Whoopsies. Nade hits on Clone Man. That's okay. Too aggressive though. We miss our sleep too. I think it's also totally fine just to sit in your sleep though here, and then obviously we don't hear the power spike is down, and then we played this. We needed to give up way more space here. We need to give up way more space. Like once we're here as Ana, we've used both cooldowns. We need to be out. Like I'm talking literally cars or even hiding. Like you can even hide here. Like it's all about knowing your cycles, right? Your cycle's down, and yet Rack is still playing here. Rack cannot play here. They've used everything. They got nothing out of it. So therefore, the enemy team has their spike back, and you have to play more defensively here. This is never gonna work. And that's it. That should be it. No way that they could recontest this. Yeah. Okay, so some definite issues with understanding when we need to be playing aggressively from the supports of Vegas, and a little bit of, I mean, that's mostly it. A little bit of impatience, I think, as well. Yeah. Okay, let's keep going. So we're gonna go Bastion. Nice. Curious how much of this is the troll pick versus this is legitimate. Like I could see it being legitimate. Okay, so they use the initial turret form, but they don't get a lot out of it. That's sad. So what we would have liked to have seen is if we're going to use the turret form, maybe potentially try to hold the close corner here. And then, I mean, I don't know. You obviously, they're going to get their Mei wall back faster. I'm not really sure. I haven't coached Bastion Brawl. But it sucks to trade turret form for Mei wall because I think Mei wall comes back sooner. I think. Yeah, so that then they have an advantage in the Brawl briefly. That's a little bit unfortunate, but still. Okay, let's see what happens. So they're going to give up space, see if they can bait SAMITO's team to walk forward here. There's the flank. I don't love Dove's positioning here. I think Dove really needs to try and control left side, right? Or top, one or the other. Good shots though. So he gets low, but he shouldn't be here. I think leaning towards this side. This is a really important angle and flank to control. This is also a really important angle and flank to control. Not as important in this in Brawl meta, but neither team is actually putting any attention on that whatsoever. And I think that's actually going to kill Malfoy. Because Cabe sees an opportunity. 3, 2, 1. That's going to get Malfoy low. That's going to force an early turret. We're not actually in a position to push now. Now if Clone Man chills, Mei wall the choke. They bait the Mei wall. Great play from Vulcan there. So they really messed up, but they baited the Mei wall there. Why just stand there when they use turret form instead of taking space with it? I don't know. I had the same question. I think it's probably because if you took space with it and held this choke here, Team Red was probably thinking that, oh, well, they're going to get Mei wall back sooner, so we might die because we've overextended, right? But I think they could have been okay. I think what I would have done is walk forward to the choke, set up maybe my Cass in here, maybe my Bastion somewhere over here, and then don't care if they have Mei wall. If we're on point, Mei wall isn't as good. So yeah, I'm not so sure. They do a good job baiting out Maywall, but unfortunately, again here, I just don't feel like there's enough attention on controlling this right flank. I really feel like for the people in this flank, this could be really spooky if you put Dove on this. Dove needs Rack. Dove needs even a little bit of Mouthful here. Can you can go 3, 2, 1, have your Ryan push out here, bait Maywall, and then with Lucio, Bap, Cast, clear out this left angle. You're gonna win this fight in here. You're gonna win it. If you bait out, especially with a Maywall and main, it's gonna win. You're gonna win the flank here. Dove is getting like, hard bullied right now, and this Mei is getting way too much value because I see way too many people sitting behind a Maywall here. Like, we bait Maywall, they cap point, Vulcan messes up, Vulcan doesn't get out in time, Vulcan's shield breaks, we don't get Lamp out in time. Yeah. Honestly, like, I don't know where to... I don't want to assign blame on anybody here, but they just did not do a very good job controlling space here. Did red team choose the best place to fight Spilo? No. I think playing on point would be better here. So we're going to definitely want to split push with this comp. Split push with probably a Cast flank on the right here, and then Bastion to respond to the Maywall, and then blow right through them. The question is are we going to have the ults to do it? There's the window. We should be okay. We're not. We don't have Maywall, so that's one downside of our comp. We should know that they have window, though. We should know that they have window. So that's more of a positional goof up, I think, from Rack. And that's a fight. Should be a fight win. Fight loss, excuse me. A comedy of errors. Well, I mean, I don't think Team Blue is playing this one poorly, y'all. Like, this is... Okay. I just don't like this, guys. Like... I just don't like this. Like, the timing here isn't perfect, first off. It's not bad, but it's not perfect. But there's just no flank control whatsoever. Like, we want to see probably at least Dove sitting right here with Baptiste babysitting him doing this, right? Like, think about this. Here's what's going to happen. They're going to Maywall, they're going to LOS the window, and they might even flip around and flank their backline here. Or they might just wall, drop wall, throw Blizzard, or beat, and then they're screwed anyway. Let's see what happens. There's wall. They wait it out. They get point control. There's the beat rush. Oh, SAMITO comes out too soon. SAMITO doesn't even get the beat inside Ice Block, right? Yeah, he doesn't get it. That's unfortunate. But again, there's just a real lack of angle control here. And what happens to Luke here? Was this a boop? Might be a boop. Yeah, he just gets out of position. Again, do you remember when we talked about the first round where Luke pushes up, but then gets beat rushed on because he didn't realize that they had beat? This is the same thing. Luke goes, guys, they're 1 HP, they're low, they're 1 HP, they're low, they're low, they're low. We have a cooldown advantage, let's push. But he's not thinking it through because they have beat, they have Blizzard, they have Shatter. Right? So unless you are also going to match beat here, this isn't going to work. This is a mistake. This is a very aggressive position, and he's going to get beat rushed again. So yes, a nice boot for Momentum, who is a very good Contender's main support. But this is silly. This is just not reading the ult economy right. This is thinking about tier 1, but not thinking about what they're going to do. Because even if this isn't a beat, imagine there's a Blizzard thrown out right now. Luke's screwed. He's screwed. He's not at all in a position to deal with this. So I think this is something that we need to do a better job on Zen and Bap. Like these level 1, like they did a great job. They managed to kill SAMITO. I don't love the angle control. I don't love the flank control. Okay, but this isn't looking great. It's a good Bastion ult. Creates a lot of space that's going to isolate Clone Man. That might actually kill Clone Man. Probably too much used, but I get it. You're down 1. That should be a fight win for Red. So they just blew a lot of ults, and SAMITO not just being there just as a GG's. But if you're Team Blue, I think you're pretty happy with that trade. So, I imagine this crossing should be pretty difficult for Team Blue, even with Ice Wall, with the Bastion. They choose not to punish the rotation. Okay, they need to be really careful about the Mei advantage here. So I want to see good angle control, good flank control with a Cass. Probably a little early with the turret form. I like the turret form to be used reactively, not proactively. To when the enemy team crosses the line, right? Yeah, that was a little too early. So it gives, do you see, they've just immediately disengaged that. You see that? I assume that was communicated. And the problem now is, now we don't have we don't have turret form, and SAMITO's gonna have wall in about 5 seconds. I think Bash is unironically probably something that some teams are at least experimenting with. I don't have like a lot of insight into pro meta or how good Bastion is, but it's not a total troll pick, no. So this is fine for Team Red. This is good. Good kiting. Good little bit of crossfire here. That's gonna force ice block. Oh, Vulcan really should not do this. Vulcan's gonna get blizzard. Yeah, that's it. So let's talk about this. Very similar to the mistake that Luke was making. You need to be very careful about seeing an advantage and pushing W if they have an old advantage. For example, right now, Vulcan's thinking, oh my gosh, look at this. This is huge. Pins in, they're all low. But his team isn't on the same page with him. So therefore, there isn't a quick pincer here. Now, theoretically, if there was a quick hard pincer here, even if they had Blizzard, they could theoretically win the fight. But half of this team is thinking, they have Blizzard, we need to run. They have Mei, wall, we need to run. And Vulcan's thinking, go in, go in, go in, go in, right? So then Vulcan's in. Vulcan's used Pen. Vulcan's like, oh crap, there's Lamp. Everybody has to walk forward now to help Vulcan. So as Vulcan walks forward, as they're walking forward to help Vulcan, what does SAMITO see? That's it. So we can look at this in 2 ways. Vulcan, error, should not have pushed there when they had Mei old advantage. But if you were to push and YOLO it, you would absolutely need some sort of a crossfire pincer from your other team, from your team here. This should be it. Even if this Blizzard even hits one person, it should be over. Yeah, it's over. Little flanky from Dove, doesn't matter. Okay. Okay. So probably we'll high noon this crossing. And again, because no Mei, and because they have to hurry and touch, I think this is probably GG's. 3, 2... Wait. Now. Really well played by, actually really well played by Vegas. Look at where Vulcan took the trade. So they trust Rap to touch point. Look at Vulcan's positioning here. He gets the counter pin. But look. You see that? He plays cover so well that actually it's too far. Clone Man's counter pin ends and he's able to shield it. This is really good. Well played. They did a great job as a whole playing around this. I think my only complaint here is I would have liked to see... I mean, even Dove's flank here is really cute. I love that. Forces SAMITO's... you know, SAMITO could have walled Vulcan up in the air, but SAMITO can't. Well, actually, why does SAMITO not have wall? What do we use it on? Oh, it's not bad. SAMITO's positioning is a little trolly here, not gonna lie. And then we get the touch. This is good. This is very winnable by Vegas. I didn't think it was winnable, but it actually is. And now we get to... Now we have a power spike, right? They use their cooldowns, they use their wall, their ice block. Yes, we use Lamp, but we have an opportunity to push right now. So this could be big. Yes. Really, really nice engage. That was really clean from Vegas here. Okay. So we'll probably see a high noon or a BAP window on crossing. It doesn't really matter which. BAP window is a little bit more consistent, but it's also high noon is like not a great ultimate. So if you find a way to use it like here, it's okay. Maybe they'll use both. I hope they don't use both. Nice. Not great. Maybe a little bit early. Really nice disengage from Team Blue though. They don't even get the wall, but they just disengage it. Yeah. It's actually kind of funny. The wall up was kind of bad, but it was also kind of good because I think it's why Dove pulled the trigger so fast. I think he got spooked because he was exposed. So like, watch this. Oh, shoot. I think that's why he pulled the trigger, maybe. Oh, no. I think they were disengaging. Okay, so Good disengage. Not a horrible use of high noon. It does buy you like 10, 12 seconds. So, not horrible. So, I'm curious to see what they do here. So, guys, we talked about ult disadvantage, the ult disadvantage. They have BAP window, they have beats traded, and they have shatters traded. I don't think it really matters that much. I mean, definitely one team has Maywall, which means blue has probably got a slight advantage here, but you can hard to hold this choke, or you can hard hold on point. It doesn't really matter. It's going to be up to what they want to prioritize. If he'd had the Huevos to stand on Wolf, yeah. So they're going to rotate to point. Sounds good. Please, for crying out loud, have somebody control this left side. Some flank on the back line, or just to control their DPS. I don't like this. Like, yes, you can definitely get Maywalled and rushed, but maybe it's the Maywall advantage that they're concerned about. But like, you could still play here, you know, and get pocketed out, and it costs them so much to clear. Like, if Vulcan hold, here's what I would like. I would like Vulcan to hold here. I'd like Luke to play somewhere back here. I'd like Lucio, Cass to be up here, and maybe Bastion playing back with Baptiste. I just don't like how we're forfeiting an entire side of the map. I just think that's a real big misplay. Like, look at how much space that we've lost, and like, they just didn't do anything for it. Yes, they didn't even have to Maywall for this. They could have just walked forward. That's a succulent one. Let's BAP window this one right now. They're gonna use both, actually. And that's it. They just don't control space at all, chat. Like, I'm sorry. We just shouldn't have a 4-man shatter. Or a 3-man shatter. This is just this positioning. This is my pet peeve right here. I can't stand this. I hate this so much. Please, guys, control flanks, control angles, consider the map. Like, it's just too easy. It's just too easy to hit too many things with too many things. That's it right there. We have to be more creative. We have to be more proactive in controlling space than that. Yeah. So, okay. Now here's the moment of truth. Is the next code going to work? Or are we screwed? If it does, it's okay. We got to review one map. But I would love to review a little bit more. I think Vulcan's a reasonably flexible player, actually. I think Vulcan's run was probably okay. I don't think that the Shatter Diff was the only thing there. I think there was a lot more going on than that. Okay. And now this one, I believe, and looking according to the replay code, it says defeat or victory or whatever. So I think red wins this one. Okay, let's do this. More Zen comp versus Lucio. Take angles, bait, don't stack your supports. DPS tanks playing very proactive. One target might die, but make them hurt for it. This is good, right? I want to see Dove and Vluke paired up like butter on rice. That's not how the saying goes. Wine on rice, right? Yeah, like, okay, a little bit of a Freudian slip there. We want to see Dove and Luke working together, all right? Also, we really got to see some. What did Entheo say? Some huevos from our DPS and tanks here. We gotta be brave, y'all. Uh-oh. Mouthful is swapping. Vulcan is on cart. This is problematic. Okay, Sojourn. Good choice. Hanzo, probably a pretty decent choice as well. I would way prefer Tracer plus Sojourn, because you have good angle flank control. It just allows you to take another angle, because the problem with the Hanzo is it's another target that they could theoretically rush on. But yeah, it's not bad. He's a relatively mobile sniper, so it's okay. All right, on his inner stacked. We don't love it. I would much prefer have like your Zen sitting back here with your Sojourn, you know? So we could, like, think about it right here. We can see it right now, why we do that. Harmony and Sojourn, Discord and Cassidy, this guy's dead. Over. Bang! You do not win this trade by this. You win this trade by pulling apart at the seams. Cabe should never, ever, ever be able to take a flank on this composition and win. Ever, ever. It will happen, but it shouldn't happen. Not if the supports and the DPS are playing smart. Rack can roll up here, fine. Great. Vulcan can, but I don't like how our supports are stacked. I don't like it. I really dislike it. Luke should be completely focused on helping his DPS win every single duel. But look at this. Look at Malthul's positioning, right? He's bullied out. That guy should be dead. He is dead. He's not dead. Aha! He should have died. He should have died. He should have died. Another thing as well, I mean, I guess the nade's okay. It's a big nade, right? But I would have preferred to sit on it just a little bit longer until we could actually have follow-up. So not great timing, not great angle control. But we do have better map control now. So that's good to hear, or good to see. Okay, set it up, set it up, set it up. Probably D.Va on cart, actually. I don't like Luke on cart. D.Va on cart. Okay, D.Va needs to be on cart. D.Va can position anywhere she wants at any point in time. Right now, it's very important that we have our support situated where they want to be. For me, I like Rack's position. I like Dove's position. And I think Malthul's position is probably okay. I want Luke here. Okay? I want Luke here. All right? Good sightlines, good angle control. And then if we need to push, we can drop and rotate this direction for a deeper angle. But we win the DPS trade. I don't know what Vulcan's doing. We needed to drop here. That's a big mistake. And I don't like Luke on card. A little bit of chaos. This is going to be a brutal stagger. And GG's. We need to back off. We need to back off. Luke needs to back off. A better Brawl team, I promise you, if this is London Spitfire, this guy's dead. Wall, run. Run him down. You got two people in spawn. You can't be here. Okay. Luke is... Oh, Luke, this is too early. So, here's the thing, guys. You guys are thinking, well, he has trance, right? So he can position here. Yes, but we need to wait until Rack gets a little bit closer, so that then when they rush on us with trance, our Ana can nade backline, right? In addition, I don't want Luke standing here. I want Luke standing here, cover, right? A little bit better positioning for better uptime, so you can trance later. Okay? I really want Malthul across here as well, if we can get an off angle here. Like, remember, that's your Soldier's mobility. We need to utilize that. Malthul needs to take that position. Yep, there it is. Okay, so this is good. This is starting to look good. Rack needs to be on. Rack is too slow. Rack needs to be on his toes. Because if he hears that, or knows that, even right now, he can just drop and hide, or at least waste time, right? This is too easy. This is just simply too easy. And now Luke's going to get his trance forced. This is what we wanted, though. This is what we wanted. This is what we wanted, right? That was good. This is the advantage of our comp. That range, that mobility, right? Now at least we're in good positions. Shatter, 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 shatter. Good. Not a good shatter. Oh, I guess they're going to blow everything on it. And honestly, that's not even bad from Vulcan. That's a shatter plus blizzard plus window. Okay. Sure, guys. If you want me that bad, go for it. You know? Much better angle control from Team Red. I think really nice job with the DPS setup. Not impressed by the support positioning so far. Are Vegas and Ana's in? Yes. Yeah, Vegas and Ana's in. The Doomfist swap makes a lot of sense. We get sloppy though. We get sloppy. This is not a good setup. We got a little sloppy because we thought that we would cap, but we needed to set up. This is bad. This could be really bad. Oh, huge nade though. Huge nade. Not at all a good setup for the fight. And thankfully though that we hit it before it gets really bad though. So we just got a little sloppy. We thought, oh, we're going to cap cart. We didn't think about our positioning, and that almost ends up paying off. Not at all. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Yeah, this is just sloppy. Sloppy. An odd pick? I mean, Doomfist is not an odd pick versus Ryan. He just causes a lot of disruption, and he takes a little bit less healing, so your Ana can focus a little bit more on offensive pressure. And he can also go in a lot faster. Yes, there's less peel, but I think Doomfist is probably better than D.Va. Okay. Again, I really do not like the Ana on cart. I really dislike the Ana on cart. I would love for Luke to be here. I'd love for Rack to be all the way over here with Sojourn or Hanzo. And then maybe, you know, actually, I think Hanzo maybe controlling this flank or angle over here. And then Sojourn up here with Zenyatta here. And then Doomfist on cart. Like, Vulcan isn't doing anything right now. He's a dive tank. He's either going in or he's waiting, right? He doesn't do anything by sitting up here. They're not going to contest high ground. They're not going to be it. This is just not really great play. And this is another reason right now you guys can see the tracer swap. This is why I like the tracer on this composition, because if you have a tracer of your own, you can mirror cave a lot easier, but this tracer might actually be a problem. Okay, our supports are stacked again, and that's gonna kill Vulcan. I really do not like our supports positioning. I don't think we have a good understanding of like why the split. Now this makes sense, so I'm not gonna give them too much of a hard time. I have a little bit of an advantage here because I was able to coach this composition last season. You cannot have your Anas in stacked. You cannot. You give up way too much space. You give up way too much space. It becomes way too easy to zone and isolate your DPS. And you can see it here. They threaten Rack. Rack is out of the fight. Now Vulcan's isolated. Imagine if Rack sat up here, guys. And they did the same rotate to try and clear out the Zen, right? Now Rack is totally free to do whatever the heck he wants. Easy peel, easy picks, easy nades, easy sleeps, right? So, not great. Good rotate by Blue, though. Oh, Rack should have died there. Rack does die there. But I love the DPS positioning from Red. I think the aggression is obviously really good. I think a little bit might just be that the way you have to position as support in these comps in Overwatch League is you just have your supports just have to be a lot more like dynamic and a lot more quick to respond. And Malthul and Dove probably have more experience with that type of positioning as playing DPS players. This is more of what we want to see. Vulcan on cart. I don't like that we're not controlling high ground at all here. I think, like, even if Luke played, like, back here, especially because he has trance, Luke can play, like, here and get a lot done. He has a great sightline, and then if he hears anything happening over here, he can walk forward with Malthul and play really aggressively. It feels like the #1 issue I'm seeing so far with Vegas is not considering, like, multi-layer ult cycles, right? And their support positioning is, like, the supports are too stacked. Ironically here, it feels like the DPS are actually taking angles and the supports are playing too stacked. Whereas in the previous round with the Brawl mirror, it felt like the supports were okay, maybe, sort of, but the DPS were too stacked. Like, this is just too, like, for example, if you're Team Blue here, if you're SAMITO's team here, you don't even need to go for the supports. Like, look, what are they doing here? Like, you could literally just sit here and stall cart for years. Like, these supports are just completely non-factors. Yeah, the Hanzo is by far the weakest pick because he is isolatable and killable. By far, Tracer would be a much better pick. I mean, Echo, if Dove has a good Echo, I don't imagine Dove does have a good Echo, but yeah, it's about hero picks. Hanzo can work. Yeah, like, look at how easily it is to isolate this guy. Like, because the supports are just completely out of the fight. So easy to isolate. This guy should die. Yep, that's it. Look at that. Look at what one Maywall did. One Maywall. Watch this. I don't even think he intended to wall them, but, like, look at this. Just complete non-factors. No nade, no discord, no sleep dart, no healing, no damage, nothing. You guys have to take angles. Like, even with the tracer, you can mark the tracer. You can play around the tracer's recall. You can have your Sojourn hard focus the tracer. But this is really rough. Now, Dove still has a good angle. Maybe we hit a shot here. Luke is really struggling with his cycles. He tries to help. They've gotten a kill. What do you think Team Blue is doing right now? Right? Walking forward. It's 5v4. They've reset their cooldowns. They are on you. You cannot do this. This is insanity. This is insanity. Luke's cooked. There it is. Ah! This wasn't earned. This wasn't earned. It's not good. Good nade though. Does buy them a little bit of time, keeps them alive. Dove is able to keep his position, which is really nice. And there it is, right? And that's great. A little bit of bad timing from Cave there, but yeah, huge. Our DPS have been clutching this one, not gonna lie. Hey, Colin. Good to see you, mate. Once again, though, our supports are stacked. Where I would prefer, like, if we could get, like, I know Luke uses his trance, but I think I'd prefer Luke to, like, finish his trance, like, here-ish, right? Set up something of a crossfire, right? Because I guarantee what we're going to see is they're going to explode out and they're going to try and wall off the supports and run them down. And theoretically, wall should get more value, too much value. We're getting a little bit of a split here. That's good. Big dragon. Monstrous dragon. Yeah. Huge. So it's consistently been... Support positioning has been kind of a mess. Vulcan's getting punished for it. Maybe Vulcan's going a little too hard as well, but whatever. He's also getting hard focused. But the supports have been basically non-factors so far. This is much better positioning. We love to see it. But I don't know why Luke is on the floor. Why is Luke pushing cart? Why is Luke pushing cart? Chat, Luke should be here. Luke should be here, right? Or even Luke could be here, right? I don't understand why Luke is on cart. I don't understand. Don't think it's a good position. You got a little bit of a DPS split, but it's too easy. Do you see how, like, Luke gets pressured a little bit and then he has to back up completely, right? Even if he doesn't die, he has to be, like, almost has to play so safe as soon as they look at him. Right? You see this? He's a non-factor now. He's a non-factor. Whereas if he didn't here, it would have been a lot harder for them to bully him out. He could have orbed Vulcan, discorded SAMITO, put out a little extra pressure, right? Not great. DPS positions are good, though. Raknek's position is also very good. But yeah, Luke has been almost a total non-factor this entire game. Now Luke's pushing, and now Luke can push, right? Because they're up a significant amount. Okay. Here comes the fast rotate. Thankfully, we have our support set up. We've learned our lesson. Vulcan's on cart, but it doesn't matter. Vulcan's going to get out. Nice. Now, there's not a lot of good spots for supports here outside of the high ground, right? This is a cool little split here. I like this. I would like Rack to stay here, though. To shoot cart. Yeah, there he goes. There he goes. See? We're listening. DPS positioning is good. They shouldn't be able to stop cart for too long with Dove and Mouthful's angle. So let's just keep shooting cart. This is silly. So Luke goes for a really aggressive flank, which I respect, but it has to be set up and it has to be earned, right? So, like, look at when this flank is taken. And look at the aggression from Vulcan at that same point in time. Look at the aggression from Dove. Look at the aggression from... Do you see how it doesn't match? This is what we call timing, right? Luke is playing very aggressively. This is actually really reasonable, especially if Mouthful came with him or Vulcan came with him. I'm actually totally fine with this. But it's too early. It's too early. And SAMITO hits the flick of his life. Look at this guy aim hacking. He's not even trying. Look at that. What is this guy? What is this guy? Yeah, that was not good timing, though. Who should be on cart there? Doomfist. Just Doomfist. Just Doomfist. Wow. Those shots, though. But you see, like, if we had waited literally 1 second later. 3, 2, 1. Now, look at, you got Vulcan in the back line. You got everybody's focused on Vulcan. You've got Dove aggressive. Mouthful's actually not timing it super well. But, like, you have Luke in here as well. Now this actually makes sense, right? It's just too early. He switched Icicle to M1. Interesting. Interesting. It's actually an interesting idea. I think a little bit of a communicational goof up from Team Blue here. We get a really split. And then I don't think SAMITO, yeah, he doesn't have Ice Walk in time. But this being said, I mean, it's the same thing every fight. It feels like supports goof up their positioning or make a mistake, and then the DPS with good power positions win the fight. It's the same. I think it's the same story over and over. I'm not even saying necessarily that, like, oh, that they got greedy, they pushed in. I don't even think it's necessarily like, oh, like, this skill gap between the supports and the DPS. I just think that's like the supports in this particular meta and this particular composition do not know what they're doing. That's what's happening. Because I would also go as far to say that in the Brawl mirror, it actually looked like the DPS from Vegas that didn't look like they didn't look as comfortable knowing what they were doing. Like, again, I don't like, look, I just don't understand. Like, I know he has trance, but you want to hold a good position and then play hyper aggressive from that good position to force your trance. This looks like just Luke is just like, there's just no way that this is like, I just feel so crazy. Okay, now they're dropping, so now Luke goes up. This I like this. Yeah, I'm not sure. Sometimes last week, this is good. Nice. Yeah. So really, Team Blue messed up pretty hard in their ult economy. Didn't get a lot of value out of ultimates. And we're not able to rotate and deal with the DPS positions well. Like, Vegas's Dove and Malthus positions just absolutely deadlifted the crap out of this map. The Dragons have been really great, right? Mid-fight, right? Like, once things get chaotic, just massive Dragon just comes flying in. You think Kree's a better pick than Sojourn with the Brawl still? No, I don't think so. Definitely not versus the Vegas's comp. Not enough mobility to deal with stuff. But it's not a bad pick. It's not a bad pick. But in the Brawl, Ryan versus Ryan, or Ram versus Ram, whatever stuff, I'm not so sure, actually. Interesting positions here. Again, I appreciate that we're trying to set up a crossfire here, but I think the low-hanging fruit here is that have your Zenner on it here and then have your other one here. This is the better position. Because even if they do this far rotate here, you could just easily rotate away. In time, you'll be able to scout it. I don't like the setup from the supports. Vegas comp with the Tracer? Yes, agreed. Obviously, SAMITO. I mean, there are a lot of things I can deal with Tracer, but it's something that Tracer brings to the table that's really helpful. I don't like Luke's positioning that much, honestly. I don't like it that much. We are getting a decent angle here. But I think the angle will be a lot more impactful from here. You see it? You see it? A lot more vision. A lot better vision. And the problem with this position here is you could do this wall here, and we could see a rotate from blue here, and that will clear out Luke, and that will clear out the Ana. 2-in-1. It's the 2-in-1 stuff that I'm nervous about, chat, where they're able to do a rotate or a wall and deal with both supports at the same time. This is a decent Widow angle, kind of, sort of, in the Widow, when you're trying to win the Widow duel and be sneaky, but it's not that good of a position for support in this situation. Really nice nade from Rack. Hits him on the rotate, catches them without the shield. That's on Clone Man to block that. I think Clone Man gets a little bit too greedy, but that's a huge nade. That's a fight-winning nade. And they're going to complete the rotate to underneath. But this isn't actually that safe for Team Blue because Team Red still has a lot of off angles. And you can see it right there. Like, it's even though they get the pick on Malthus, they could stop Cart for ages. They could take every angle in the history of the world. And this is, again, why like you would love to have Luke here and not here. You know what I'm saying? It's just leagues better. Monstrous punch. Oh my gosh. Chat, check the ult charge here. Oh, what? He just doubled his ult charge with like 2 abilities. 49, 50, 70 with 1 punch, 76, 83. Woo! Whoa! That's wild. That was satisfying, not gonna lie. You see that dude's comment? What comment? The cafe on it? The one at the bottom comment asking about it? Yeah. That's alright. Okay, so they go ball. And really the funny thing is, here's the thing, chat. It doesn't change anything. It doesn't change anything. Even versus dive, your Anazen still really don't want to play hard stack because it gives their Sombra Tracer ball too much engage opportunities. It gives ball slam too much value. It makes too much chaos. It's too easy, right? So what you do here is you'd have the same split, but you'd have your Sojourn, Zen, Doomfist hard marking their Tracer and Sombra and ball. Hard marking. And if your Ana gets dove, your Zen peels. If your Zen gets dove, your Ana peels. And if they go on both, well, if you're marking theoretically, they should be able to dive both at the same time. This is how, when he has played Ana Zen Tracer dive mirrors, Ana Zen generally didn't stack whenever you had defensive positioning. Brig Zen or Brig Ana, it would change a little bit, yes, because Brig Inspire, Brig Bash benefits more from proximity, but yeah. So I don't like our response here. I mean, you can see it right here. Do you see the response? Look at it, chat. Ana Zen stack. We play like cowards, right? We give up a lot of space. Vulcan either has to give up a lot of space, lets them just push cart for free, or Vulcan contest. But what's the problem with Vulcan contesting, chat? Ana Zen can't see. Ana Zen can't see. Vulcan gets focused. Vulcan has to disengage and almost dies. Do you see that? Imagine this exact same scenario playing, but with my Ana or Zen here. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You can't commit to playing stacked and cowardly because you guarantee your death if you do that. Now there's good positions and bad positions. You want distance, right? Look how far we are away from them, right? You want cover. You want LOS from your other support, right? But this is silly. This is silly. This is something that more experienced backline and Overwatch League would not make. They would not make this mistake. This is, again, this is not a question of necessarily skill. This is just something that will, with time, Rack and Luke will get better at in the league. A lot of these guys have the advantage of experience, right? Okay, so ball's out. But obviously, like, our support's kind of stuck here, right? There's the hack again. Look at the punish on Vulcan. Like, what is Vulcan supposed to do? Is he just supposed to let the push card for free? I mean, I don't know, you know? Like, it's rough, right? Vulcan will probably lose a lot of HP. He might even die. There it is. Ooh, Dove's getting greedy. But do you see how easy it is for Team Blue to take 0 damage? Because the entirety of Vegas is on this side of the map. All they have to do is hide here and nothing can damage them. This entire side of the map has been completely forfeited. And that's going to be this first point in a nutshell. If that's how it's lost, I'm assuming somehow, yeah, Clone Man overextends. I was like, how do Vegas win this one? Well, it's got to be through something. Yeah, so there's a poor timing from Clone Man. Clone Man goes in by himself, essentially. Like, if you look at this here, SAMITO's not set up. Cabe isn't set up. Just now set up, right? And that's a big one right there. But huge plays from the DPS. This is a bit of a stagger from SAMITO's team. Good swap to D.Va. I think D.Va makes a lot of sense. Oh, Vulcan overextends. Vulcan dies. Imagine Shu Violet. Yeah. I mean, this is why some of those double flex support metas were so good for some teams, right? This is why we even had, like, Backbone play Zenyatta, because, yeah, he wasn't... I mean, he was pretty good mechanically, I'm not gonna lie. But he was just a great communicator and had, like, guts, you know what I'm saying? And so, like, we were able to do a lot better in that meta than people thought we would. Nice trance. Really not great from SAMITO, a little bit early. And then the beat is forced as well. The mines don't get a lot of value. You know what's actually funny here is, like, look at how this goes. Luke by himself. Let's just watch. Let's just watch. Oh shoot, I'm dead, right? Nope. Good peel. I die, but while I'm dying, what's happening? We've been able to peel off the ball dive. My Ana has been able to maintain a good position, and my DPS have had windows to be able to put pressure. Now imagine what Luke just did, but imagine if he ended trance instead of here. Imagine if he had ended trance where he would not have gotten booped on this sign here, where there's actual cover. He would not have gotten booped. He would have dodged slam. He would have played it in his Ana LOS, and he would not have been able to be doved. So it's not necessarily that there's a gap between here. It's the fact that we ended up here where he got booped out, no cover on the floor. GG's. There's the Lucio recontest. That's probably it here. Once again, it feels like SAMITO seems really struggling with ult value. Like, really struggling with ult value. They do not win ult fights. Now the matchup's a little simpler. Control space, control angles. If Dove is able to take a good angle, it's going to be pretty hard for them to outdamage it. Just mark their DPS. Dragon's fine. Just buys time. Thank you for the sub, LM. Does Vegas have an assistant coach? I don't think so. I think it's a solo coach. The Brig Lucio Classic, by the way. This is something that this team has a lot of experience with. Rack Attack, Brig, Luke, Mito, Lucio. Very experienced with this. A little bit of a goofy peel there, but that should be probably it. They were able to hold high ground. I assume this is it. They're able to keep their DPS in good positions. Dove is able to hold spots. Big kill from Dove. And that's it. Yeah. Okay, so again, mostly ult value. So, takeaways. DPS positions were pretty good. Not a huge fan of the compositional choices. I don't like Luke's Mito's position and Rack Attack's positioning the vast majority of the time, but their ult use as a whole is much better. Okay? I don't feel like Kiriko gets much well, that's because Neb isn't playing Kiriko properly. We're focusing a little bit more on Vegas here, but if Blue were playing the composition correctly, Neb would have been diving. Like, let's go back here. If we'd been playing the composition correctly here, let's actually go to the dive itself. Dive with these guys. Legit, just run in. When you get your ball slam, your somber angle, whatever, Suzu the floor and blow this Zin's head off. Right? Right? No other support can do that. All in. Close the distance. They don't have trance, right? Just go all in. Now, when they have trance, it gets a little bit trickier because you might need to. They'll have a way of surviving the dive. But like even that, why are we peeking that there when before ball's not going in? All right, are we gonna go in with a ball? Ball goes in by himself, and then we go in after ball is out. That right now, this is what Kiriko does well. If we had been able to synchronize a ball, summer tracer, and then our Kiriko climbs up and starts DPSing, that's what Kiriko gets value out of, right there. But we've never like hit that time spike, that power spike. I mean, this is just a goofy team, right, chat? Like it's not that deep, you know. But if we were to talk about what Kiriko would actually do, that's it right there. Let's maybe watch one more fight. Right there. Follow up. Zen has to die. He doesn't die. They trance. Okay, we're good to go. We just need to survive, and then we push back in with beat. Momentum's beat here was not good. The EMP for trance and then surviving was fine. Maybe the beat was okay for the nano. Oh, this is good. We just got mechanical diffed. That's all. This is what Kiriko is good at, though, and we obviously didn't have our ultimate there either, which sucks. Okay. Next map, chat. Cross your fingers. We got one more card. Please work. We've done so well so far. JZF. HV6.
How do you find the SAMITO plays yet?
I think SAMITO's played pretty darn well in May. Ah, it works! It works! We're in! We're in! Yes! Yes! We're in. It didn't get wiped. Okay. Yeah, I think SAMITO's played pretty well. I think his May walls have been pretty reasonable. Obviously some nice shots. I mean, it's not a surprise, guys. Like, you guys forget that SAMITO used to be a contenders player, y'all. And not even a bad contenders player. Like, pretty decent contenders player. I remember playing SAMITO as Hanzo back in 2020, and that guy was cracked in Hanzo. That guy was really good. Okay, Brawl mirror. Whee! Now, you guys are talking about here with Vulcan with his Reinhardt. Listen, Dove, Rack Attack, Luke, Malthul, these guys should be winning the Brawl mirror. I'm not gonna lie. Clone Man is in his element. SAMITO is a pretty good May. Momentum is a good Lucio. A Cape, I'm not as familiar with nor Neb, but this should be a win for Vegas. It should be a win for Vegas. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. This isn't a compositional awkward meta thing. I can blame the Ana Zen goof ups on just Vegas doesn't know exactly what they're doing in their backline, but there's no excuses here. He's a coach for U Kentucky. Ah, cool. Which one, Neb or Cape? Wow, look at this flip, y'all. These guys are whack. And you know what? This is really cool because check it out. They just default. Actually, why does Vegas roll out here? Do they expect? Maybe they expect like a Zen comp. Because this is, you don't want to be here in the Brawl mirror. Like you want to control the high ground, right? Like or this area of the map where the sightlines are a lot better, right? Oh, SAMITO is a coach. Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Yeah. Anyway, this is really bad for I don't know. Like, look, guys, this is like, okay, if you're team red here, this is where you immediately need to meet on the corner here or something like that. You cannot stay here. Like, you're gonna give up the entire map, all the angles. I'm actually kind of surprised he didn't leverage that more. Like, you could really do some goofy stuff here with Cabe on the flank, you know what I'm saying? Let's see if Dove tries for something. Decent wall. But wall's off Malthal, which means that they're going to have a huge shield break advantage for a period of time. There's a wall. It's a good counter wall. The lamp is forced. Why is the lamp forced? Ah, stick. Ah. Great ability. Okay. So, stick trade. They win the stick trade. That's a big one, though. Because now, blue, theoretically, assuming everything else is equal, can play a little bit more aggressively here. And they are going to give up some space. Vulcan isn't able to kite out well enough. And another thing to note as well, guys. What do you note? Why do you think Team Red Blue wins the shield trade here? Why do you think? Check it out. What's the difference between your screens right now? You see it? I'll check the dev AMA on Arcal later, yeah. Do you see it? Versus here? Yeah. That's why Vulcan loses the shield trade here. That might be because he sees the lamp and he assumes somebody's low, so he tries to shield for them. But then right now, Vulcan needs to be getting out of dodge. Like, legit out. He's dead. He's cooked. Out. Don't leave a fire strike. Out. Oh! He doesn't get out. He dies. Not a good look. I'm so disappointed how boring these guys are playing the Brawl mirror, y'all. So boring. Not near enough angling with the Cassidys. Not near enough cheesing. Just wait until they play up against, like, I'm trying to think of a good example, like proper on Cass. You know what I'm saying? Woo, Nelly. It's gonna be, they're gonna have a hard time. Okay. This one goes to the trenches, I guess. No full cap. That's good. So this wall here is actually not that scary because they're gonna wall it, of course, but there's gonna be no follow-up because half of the team is gonna be over here and they're pushing bot. So I wouldn't be I wouldn't be scared if I was Vegas to walk out of this choke and just survive wall and then probably rotate out through here. Maybe wall off their May and then look to rotate up top here. I'm actually SAMITO needs to be really careful here that he doesn't actually get walled himself. That's what should happen. They do wall off Malthal. That's really fortunate. There's the clear. Now, if Malthal is able to walk out here and wall this right here, this fight's over and Vegas wins. They don't get it. They're going to regroup. Vulcan goes in, but he goes in by himself. Malthal's not there yet. So that's going to allow SAMITO to get his wall back. Vulcan's going to lose more shield. They do get the wall in SAMITO. There's the ice block advantage. They're going to lamp maybe a little early. Vulcan had plenty of shield left. No, I guess he didn't. Okay, good lamp then. High noon is good. There's the beat, and there's the power spike again, right? Like, again, it's just like, because they just get a little too aggressive, right? This was something that Luke was screwing up a lot earlier, but now I guess it's Dove screwing up. So at first I'm like, oh, it's a decent high noon. Well, not if they have beat, not if they have shatter, not if they have blizzard. So like right now, we actually might even need to disengage because they have the Brawl advantage. We don't have our Blizzard yet. We don't have our Beat yet. We don't have our Shatter yet. We need to be careful. Yeah. So yes, main tank differential, but also, I mean, I just don't see any way that, yeah. Oh, they do have Blizzard, I guess. Oh no, and we wasted our window. Yeah, I mean, honestly, y'all, just not a lot of good position setups. Like, it really looks like a lot of the time, like, look at this here. Look at Dove's positioning here. You guys tell me what the problem is here. You know? Just sit here, press Q. With Bat Pocket and with your damage reduction, Cabe is completely out of the fight. And like this is legitimately a fight winning High Noon. If you sit right here, it's over. So you guys are trashed on like MTD, but I really think that the supports when they're playing dive comps and then the DPS when they're playing brawl comps are just not doing Vulcan any favors at all. We're just not controlling space. I mean, Malthal's basically been out of this fight almost entirely. The wall is good, but it's just, we just don't control space. We just don't control space. And that has to change. We have to do a better job of controlling angles. We have to do a better job of understanding like the matchup. And I think, like I said, again, with stuff like understanding like the power spikes, like I think we probably played more aggressively there because of High Noon, but also we probably played more aggressively because we called it we were close to Blizzard. But you have to understand that like when we also track that they have those cooldowns, you have to be really, really careful about how aggressively that you play it. You got to be really, really, really careful. Okay. I'm trying to think here. I really think it's just holding high ground. I really think it was just holding high ground. I think that was the main thing. Okay, let's keep going. But yeah, that's it. Like every shatter is massive. You know what I'm saying? Like look at that, 4 people on their back. That just shouldn't be happening. It shouldn't be happening at a high level. Hey, you're welcome. I'm glad to hear it, mate. I'm glad to hear it. Okay, let's go. So now angles still matter now, but you have a shatter and a beat advantage. So it's going to be more on blue to kite, take angles, take space, to take longer range fights, rather than to meet you toe to toe. Because if you just run them over now with beat, it's over. So now we want red to play a little bit more aggressively, cautiously aggressively, but aggressively. Dove takes an angle. There's the High Noon. They kited out really well. I think they kited off really well. And then now we just beat in, right? Or shattered. Huge wall. There's the beat. That should be fight winning. I mean, it's not hard, guys. It's really not hard. Like, I know this sounds complicated, but it's really not that hard. Like, this is really stupid of Team Blue. Like, if you're Team Blue here, you really should just focus on pushing cart and playing as slow as you can. And by slow, I mean not trying to match them toe to toe because they have beat advantage. They have shatter advantage. You have a High Noon, which is better and longer range. So what you do, you push robot. You'd wall off Vulcan like this, push him a little bit, and just sit in the back. Maybe fight Dove on the angle, right? But don't run into them. Look at this. It's just so easy, y'all. It's so easy, guys. It's so easy. You press Q, it's over. They're on top of you. You can't kite this. It's over. Well played by Vegas, though. Well played by Vegas. Like, you could literally have just sat your High Noon back here and just, like, baited them to push, and then just press Q and completely shut down the entire beat, or try to win the flank where the beat isn't as useful. So like, yeah, okay, let's see what happens. So that was good. That was good by Vegas, not good by Blue. And that's where like you see a little bit of the ego, you know what I'm saying? Like these guys aren't taking this, I don't think, super seriously, right? Let's just go in with High Noon. Let's just go. But it's just not gonna work, you know, unless they mess up. It's just not gonna work. You'll trade High Noon for beat any day. Yeah, but will you lose the fight for it? Will you lose the fight for it? That's the problem. Like, you'll trade High Noon for beat every day, but I wouldn't if I knew I was going to guarantee going to lose it every time. I would like an opportunity to still win the fight, you know? I get what you're saying, but it's a lot more complicated than that. Okay, so now it's a little bit tricky because yes, they have shatter, but really it could go either way here. So let's see how it looks here. Good window. Nice wall. Do you see the lack of angles, y'all? Do you see the lack of... Do you see... Okay. Do we finally see why the angles matter here? You guys might not watch. Let's slow this down a little bit. What does this window accomplish? Look at the right. Look at the BAP. Space. I mean, yeah, kind of. Where? You cleared space here. What does this matter? Now let me ask you a question. Ryan's isolated. BAP, isolated. May Lucio distracted. Cabe, get your running shorts on with momentum and murder this fool. Dove should be cooked because his backline and front line cannot support him right now because of window. I beg somebody on blue to take an angle here. I beg it. Oh, Vulcan. No! How does he die? How does he die? He did such a good job. Don't show shield. Don't swing. Just hide. You can even crouch here. He walks just a little bit in the window. Oh, he gets nuked. Who is it, Cabe? Somebody shoots through window. See, look, he's so nervous about the flank. Take it! Coward! Yeah, that's like 300 damage right there. 300. Why did Samito wall his own window? He didn't. He walled off the May so that she wouldn't counter wall the window. You see? So that they could focus down Vulcan, which ended up working out all right. Now the funny thing here is I'm crying about flanks and angles, but Samito actually takes one, right? It finally happened. It maybe wasn't the one I was looking for, but it works, right? Right? Good. This is good, right? Right? Nice. That was good. Yeah, it was a great wall by Samito. I mean, all this 3 game is a lack of flanks. Well, no, because that's my spiel, guys. Right? I'm Mr. Angle guy. That's been my thing. The reason why I harp on that so much is because it is really, really important. But also the other reason is I don't think enough Western coaches prioritize map control enough. I think it's actually the #1 failing of Western coaching philosophy compared to Korean coaching. I think Korean coaches do a much better job talking about space, map control, and angles. I think that's where Western coaches fail. I think Western teams succeed through teamwork, team play, timing, things like that, decisiveness, aggression, tempo. But I think Western teams are generally worse when it comes to space control and things like that. That's why Western teams generally aren't as good as Dive. Now, the reason why I accentuate that so much is because it's good to know. But if you think about it, we've also talked a lot about timing. We've talked a lot about how Vulcan's not always matching supports timing, how there's been like a little bit of desync. We've talked about knowing the cycle of timing of your ult plans, right? How Luke Mato is pushing up aggressively when they have beat, when he should be playing a little bit more defensively. So I think we're talking a lot about angles because I do think it's one of the primary things, especially with like the Onizen stuff and the Ryan Brawlmere stuff, they're not doing very well. But if you think about it, even from this perspective here as well, like when we talk about how does Vegas lose this fight? Well, it's just a little bit of micro, and micro is not a lot of fun to talk about. Vulcan just messed up, to be honest with you guys. But I don't want to just sit there and talk about how Vulcan messed up. Let's talk about like why Blue succeeded or what Blue could have done better, right? That to me is more interesting to learn the game, I think. Yeah. I think Vulcan probably dies even if he doesn't. I mean, you could definitely be right there. Yeah. Yeah, I think there's a real big chance of that. Like they were not able to like leverage, like they weren't able to deal with that one well at all. Let's what would have saved Vulcan? Here's a good mental exercise, guys. Okay, chat. So let's get you guys involved with this one because you guys are pretty smart, right? So how do we save Vulcan? Operation Save Vulcan. Initiate. How do you save Vulcan? Cover. Yeah. Staying just on the rock wall, or as you guys said, rotating back this direction. Yes. Dove flank. Yeah, dove flank with Lucio to distract, to prevent the follow-up onto this. Yeah, 100%. This could actually win the fight here. Yeah, that's an option. Wall their window. Right, so the wall just expired, guys. So now Malthal can actually just wall from here across, and not only wall the window, but actually put Cloneman in kind of a rough spot. Right? 100%. Let's look at cooldowns as well. If Vulcan doesn't goof this up, we've got Lamp and Shift to save him. This isn't Luke Mino's fault, right? This isn't Luke Mino's fault. He had no time to react to this whatsoever. This is Vulcan's mistake. But we have Wall, Lamp, Shift, a cast angle. You know? So you guys are like, do you think Vulcan's dead? I mean, yeah, I think Vulcan's in a big pile of poopy. But we were in a position to be able to deal with it. Can Vulcan pin towards Luke? Yes, he could. Yes, he could. Yeah, absolutely. We could have rotated from here to here. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think Luke probably expected Vulcan to be a little bit more passive, and Vulcan just walked out just a little too far. Like, I don't think this is even a massive feat from Vulcan. It's a little bit unlucky, and it's a good play from Team Blue. It could be both things, right? It's not, oh, they fed, you know? It's not so simple, you know? So here's a question on the cast link earlier. We said coward for Cave not taking it. I'm partially memeing, okay? Isn't it good to put Dove out of the game by not taking the duel and getting a player advantage also rather than taking a 50-50? True. So you might be saying like maybe Dove is a better mechanical player, so let's just force him to respect the duel and not actually take it ourselves. The reason why I'm talking about this is because neither team are taking these angles or flanks like almost ever. So if one team decides to take the angle or flank, it will work disproportionately better. Like for example, like right here. If we did this window right now, and then we set up Cave and momentum here, Dove just dies because Vegas isn't dealing or used to or even thinking about dealing with these flanks at all. Now, if both teams are doing this and Rack Attack is ready for this, Dove is ready for this, then we're not falling asleep at the wheel here. Then yeah, maybe it becomes more of a stalemate or a mechanical check where maybe I don't want to play versus Dove because he's really good, right? But neither team is exploiting it, so it's really totally free for whatever team wants to actually utilize these angles. You kind of see what I'm saying? And there's a lot of times as well where there's just straight up free angle flank value. Like, for example, when Dove was up top here, or on Oasis University, same kind of thing, where really both teams are just completely ignoring that angle, especially Vegas. And it's free pressure. The reason why angles matter is because it allows you to shoot things other than Rain Shield. It allows you to ignore Maywall. It allows you to avoid shatters and blizzards and things like that. This is like a case in point. What the heck? Go away, Cortana. This is case in point why angles matter. Now, this angle is a very aggressive flank, right? I'm not saying you're feeding if you don't take this flank. But look at how much this simple Maywall does, right? Anyway, I hope that kind of explains it. It's a good question. It's not such a simple answer either. It's a very nuanced discussion point because there's sometimes where angles are too risky. They're just not worth it. A little bit of a rough stagger here, I'm not gonna lie. That's a lot of free cart push before they even did anything. In fact, they get the cap before the last person even dies almost. All right, so chat. Let's get you guys involved here. Look at the ults at the top left. Look at the ults in the top right. If you're Vegas, let's coach this, you're Vegas's coach, okay? Or you're in IGL in Vegas. How do you take this fight? What do you need to be aware of, and how do you take this fight? There's a couple of good answers here, but the overall vibe should be the same. It's like we can pick different options, but they all have the same idea. They probably scout beat and shatter here. Yep. Maybe Blizzard as well. Blizzard be aggressive. I totally disagree, respectfully. I think the worst thing that you could do here is to be hyper aggressive. I think the best thing that you could do, you could focus Lucio, yeah. I think the best thing that you could do from just a strictly ult plan, not incorporating the map, which definitely complicates things, right? Would be to open with either High Noon or Window, try to get a lot of space out of it, or force beat, Blizzard, or shatter from those ultimates. And then once you force beat or Blizzard, then we can maybe go more aggressively because we'll have our own Blizzard, our own shatter, our own one. I don't think you want to play this one hyper aggressively because they have ultimates, Blizzard and beat and shatter, which are good in close ranges. So you need to utilize your High Noon and your Window, which they do not have, and longer ranges to get a Pope cooldown space advantage first before you take the Brawl. It's really this simple, chat. Look at their ults. Do they have distant ult or Brawl ult? And then you use it based off of that information, you decide how you want to play it. So what could be a chain here would be High Noon, enemy team kites. You walk forward. Enemy team looks for Blizzard, something like that. You can Window plus Maywall off their Blizzard and try and split and take angles, and then look for like a mid-fighter shatter or something like that. The map here is pretty tough for Vegas, but it's also tough. It's really tough for both teams. This isn't optimal. So let's see how they play it. The worst thing that Vegas could do would be to go really aggressive and up close. Especially in like 10 seconds from now. Now they do overextend a little bit though. Oh my days. Okay, so yeah. This is a little bit of an overextension from Clone Man, though. I will say that. A really nice wall from Malthul. Malthul saves the day. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Monstrous wall. Like, you got fight-winning wall right here. Entire backline's dead. Then, a little bit of panic from Vegas. So the beat... High Noon. I don't like the shatter. And the Blizzard all blown out all at once. Oh, man. I don't want to think too deeply about this one. Because I don't want to overthink this one. But I think Vegas just panicked. But yeah, that's not pretty. So beat was to save Clone Man. And then we got High Noon, Window, and Shatter all used. I honestly think at this point in time, if you're Vegas, you just cut your losses and just take the fight in the corner. You don't push. And Blizzard, right. I don't think you can push here. I think this Blizzard's gonna absolutely cook Vegas. Yeah. GG's. I just don't think they set up the fight very well. A little bit of MTD there, sure. I don't know where the bracket is, honestly, guys. I got the replay code from SAMITO. He was nice enough to share it with me, but I honestly don't know. Okay, so they're down one, so they're gonna disengage. Nice. Oh, Clone Man. Clone Man! Unfortunate. Nice pursuit, though. Will they stagger? No, they will get out. There's a bracket on Liquipedia. There you go. Okay. Chat. If you were Vegas, what do you do this fight? This one is really easy. The last one was complicated. This one's really easy. Yeah, run it down. Window, high noon, shouldn't matter. Not if you get a good May wall. In fact, if you think about it, a good team, like let's put it this way. If this was the London Spitfire, the San Francisco Shock, Dallas, so any experienced good team, trying to find whatever, they're not going to roll out like this. This is horrific positioning from Team Blue here. This is so easy to wall and run it down May. But let's say this is a better team. They've got Bap up top, maybe Cassidy on the angle over here. It's hard to kind of beat and run it down mid, right? So beat and run it down mid is absolutely the play here, but versus a better team, it might be a little bit trickier than that. That being said, I imagine we'll just press Q here and this should be a fight win. Should be. They just choose to disengage at first, that's fine. Just not great cover, just really not great position for Vulcan, I think. He really needs to find the cover here faster. This beat is for him, almost. Like, I think he just needs to sit in here. He needs to make a decision. This is really, really not good. Nah, it's not good. Not good. We gotta be able to move the cover faster than that. Because we could have gone 3, 2, 1, bam, run them over, but instead this beat is as Vulcan's moving backwards. This isn't good. This is not good. Like, we really want to be pushing now, and we do get it, but Vulcan dies for it, and there's the shatter. Oh, man, guys, this is not pretty. Why do we lamp? Not a good lamp. Not a good lamp. This lamp needs to be here. This fight's won if we lamp this. Another shatter. Blizzard is good, but it's probably too late. And then we overstack ults again. Gosh darn it. Like, Blue could not have set that fight up worse. And just hurt and ah, man, this is ugly. This is ugly. If we had just simply played cover better, we could have literally won off of just wall plus beat in. Instead, we've got Vulcan moving backwards, and Vulcan goes in after the beat is basically over, and then we don't have our lamp, we mess up our lamp, and then we end up almost dying, and then we get a Blizzard off, which the Blizzard was huge, but then we double our ults to try and make sure that with the Blizzard, it's a bit of a mess, y'all. Not gonna lie. Next fight, same thing for Team Blue. Beat in, run them over. Beat in, run them over. Maybe Blizzard if you kite it up. Be careful. I don't like I don't like this. Okay, this is the same thing, guys. It's really simple. They have beat advantage. They have Blizzard advantage. We could definitely play aggressively, shoot aggressively here, but we really cannot have by Baptiste Cree or Cassidy walking forward into Blizzard and beat. This cannot happen. This cannot happen. We have to be playing snakes, like rats, angles, flanks, take angles, play long sight lines, do cheese plays, do something. Maybe you could be C9ing cart or something. Not C9 cart, but like you could, this is too easy. This is too easy. This is too easy. If Vulcan doesn't hit the shatter of his life here, this fight is over. Almost dies. He hits it on the May too, which is the big one. Oh, he doesn't hit on the May. SAMITO doesn't quite have Blizzard yet, but this fight's just lost. Like, there's just no, like, as good as the shatter is, because what the shatter does is it prevents them from getting as much follow-up. Actually, the wall from SAMITO is really bad. The SAMITO wall is bad. These guys should have died here. But it's just not good. Like, they're just not playing to the strengths of the ult. Like, this Blizzard, it's over, you know, y'all? Like, it's too close. Again, it's just Brawl ult versus Spam ult. That's pretty much it. And if you don't have any ults, or if you have a massive ult disadvantage, you play for angles and flanks. You play for map control. You either win through ult advantage or through map control advantage, or both. And then what ult advantage you have and what map control advantage you have depends on the ultimates that you have. It's not even Vulcan, guys. Like, stop. Like, okay, Vulcan has definitely beefed 2 fights here. I'm gonna give Vulcan at least 2 fights where he's really crapped the bed, right? But this isn't Vulcan, guys. This shatter is what this shatter saves Vegas. Like, without this shatter, they just die to beat. Honestly, they just straight up die to beat. But this shatter puts Cass on his back, forces Peel, disrupts the backline, and actually forces them to actually makes this fight actually winnable. Because even right now, like, look at this right now. If you look at this fight right now, and the rest of Vegas kind of plays slow, and maybe kites us out, maybe it's even that's not really winnable. But like, that shatter actually is the only reason this fight was even remotely competitive. It's just a stupid fight plan. It's just not a good fight plan as a whole. Like, I don't know why you would meet them with beat May. It just doesn't make sense. Okay, so now we're once again in a situation with High Noon and Window. So we're not going to win through ults. We don't have any Brawl ults. So we're going to need, let's see what we do. Brawl versus spam ult idea apply to most comps? No, it applies to every composition. Every composition. Brawl versus spam. Spam is just simply range. Brawl is short range. Long range, short range. If you have Primal and a Dive Mirror, you're going more aggressively on them. If you have a Sojourn ult, you don't necessarily need to play as aggressively in short range. When I say aggressive, let me be very clear. You could play very aggressive with High Noon, but you do it aggressively with range. With Window, same thing. The Brawl versus spam ult, the long versus short range ult idea applies to every composition. On is in Dive Mirrors, double shield, sniper mirrors, whatever. Hydrate, thank you. High Noon low key underrated as a Brawl ult with the damage reduction. Yes, unless they have a Brawl ult to beat it, like Blizzard that will freeze you, or Shatter that'll put you on your back, or a beat that can run you over and kill you despite the damage reduction. It's definitely more, and there's some ults that are a little bit more hybrid. For example, Nano can be a spam ult if you like Nano your Sojourn or something like that, or it could be a Brawl ult, like you can Nano somebody defensively or Nano somebody to go in. What's another one like that? Like Shatter is, well, no, not Shatter. Flux is a great one. So Flux can be used for you to push in or to keep them at distance when you want to keep them away from you. Like if they push in, like let's say they use, they try and use an ultimate that they want to push in with. You can Flux to buy time to keep them at distance, to keep them still. Torbolt, Torbolt's more Brawl, but yeah, there's a little bit of, yeah, copy. There's a little bit of nuance to that one too, yeah. All right, so let's see what we do. Dove is on the rat. Let's go, Dove. Let's go, Dove. Ah. It's okay, though. All right, Vulcan, find that wall, buddy. Ah. Let's see how Vulcan does. I'm not loving these walls. Or this wall. I think you could have very reasonably just walled this, I think, across here immediately. I think that would have been reasonable. We're a little slow on the wall. So Vulcan, or Malthol, I think tries to wall him up to save him, I guess. I actually don't think this is too bad from Vulcan here. Let's see. He takes it there. Maybe we needed to move back towards this direction here instead of pushing back in. That's probably the main thing that I would have told him to do. Or yeah, he had time to get here. Yeah, so definitely could have played that one better. I don't know, a 2 for 0 ult trade when your flank on Cassidy doesn't work is it's a tough one to win. I'm not gonna lie. Oh no, we got a bit of a stagger. We're just windowing to prevent us to allow us to touch cart, really. Oh my gosh. These shatters are killing us. Oh, the lamp is just a tiny bit late. We should be able, well. Oh. Okay, so it's gonna cost us a lot of ultimates here, but big shatter from Vulcan. Bang, yes. He does it after Ice Block as well, so we get the damage on SAMITO, who just melts. And we get the big Fire Strike before as well. Nice. Fight winning shatter. Unfortunately, it costs us, like, a lot of stuff. Nice, Vulcan. Vulcan Redemption Arc. I think the hammer knockback knocked them out of the lamp. Yeah, maybe. So once again, we're in a situation where it's not super clear how the fight should be played. You have May ult for Lucio ult. Let's see what happens. Plus they have Window and High Noon. Let's see what happens. Just disengage with wall if you need to. Dove goes Sojourn, which is cool. And like I mean, I don't know, guys. That'll do it, you know. I mean, they did a great job disengaging it, you know. They wasted it, so now you have a situation where it's a beat for Blizzard essentially. No. I don't like this. I don't like this. We just chuck it. We don't have a wall set up. We have not seen Reinhardt use charge. Oh, also SAMITO with a block. See, here's the thing, chat. Okay, so this is great from SAMITO. I'm not gonna lie to you. SAMITO. I don't know why I said it like that. This is great from SAMITO. However, I will say one thing. That's good. But this is also not good for Malthul. There's a couple of parameters that you need for a Blizzard. You need a good wall, usually, or you need targets without mobility. Let's just imagine that this Blizzard doesn't get blocked. It's gonna hit right here. You know, actually, yeah, no, it's just, we just needed a wall. We just needed a wall. Because the problem with what we do here is it's gonna land like right here, and all we're gonna do is we're just gonna amp speed out. That's all. So like all we had to do is even wall in front of SAMITO, or yeah, wall in front of SAMITO and then just chuck it, and then Clone Man won't be able to pin out again, and then your Blizzard hits. I just don't like this Blizzard. This is not great, because even if this Blizzard hits, the amp speed will get them out without wall follow up. And he's not even trying to wall here. Do you see that? Yeah, this is no good. This fight's over. There's the beat. GG's. Do you wall before or after the Blizzard, or does it not matter? It doesn't matter super much. You prefer wall before to guarantee that you can lock down the targets. Generally wall before. Because this is a crazy play from SAMITO, but Malthul gave him the opportunity to make the super play. And now we're just trolling the lobby. Now this is like, this is Odyssey. You guys remember Odyssey Contenders team? This is Odyssey Contender. Genji, Sojourn, Brig, Lucio, Rush Tank. They're just gonna run it down. There it is. Uh-oh. I don't really want to overanalyze this, because at this point I think they're just kind of screwing around. I think you probably realize that this match was kind of lost, so we got to try something out. They don't have any ultimates. There's Hammer Down, there's High Noon. It's just, they took good angles, it just didn't matter. Hey, maybe it does matter. Again, another 2 for 0. Like whenever you're in a situation where you have to win a fight, 2 ults versus 0, you messed up. You messed up. And like in a must fight win scenario, you messed up. That's kind of silly. I'm not gonna lie, getting that close. Just for a random deflect. He should have been either controlling cart from a safer position or controlling high ground. This fight's over. Not gonna lie, y'all. Classical. I don't know how Rhino's got to be 17 soon. Okay. Well, main takeaways. I don't think this team looks very good in the Brawl mirror right now. I think a lot of the issue comes from I don't think the DPS do a great job supporting Vulcan, and Vulcan isn't very good at Reinhardt, so he struggles with cover usage. Don't think they do a great job controlling angles. I don't think they do a good job with the ult situation. I think that on a Zen support positioning was not good. So here's what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to spoon feed you narratives. Oh, Vulcan's a bad Reinhardt. Oh, they don't know how to play on a Zen. This is a World Cup goofy little trial. People just having a good time for the most part. I will say here, there's a couple of things that we're going to need to kind of take a careful and close look at coming up next Overwatch League season to see if they're able to work through some of these issues. Because even if they weren't taking it too seriously, we would have liked to have seen a little bit better of a performance in some of these situations. So stop asking me who the weak point of the team is. Like, that's just such a cringe question to ask, you know. Be respectful, see how the play works out. And there's, I'm sure that these guys will be able to improve from this. Like, it's still early in the season. Like, I mean, I remember last season, y'all. Like, London was not doing well early in the season in scrims. We were not doing well in scrims. We weren't losing to contenders teams, but we were not doing well in scrims. So it happens. Do you still play for map control as Brawl versus like a ball comp for X? Yes, you do. But you just have to do it in a way to where like you're not totally isolated. You have to find a way to like take angles where you can see each other, where Ball Summer Tracer can't isolate you. Sam is way better than I thought he was. Sam is a good player. I hope next season I'll see more wide positioning from angles. Yes, angles. The other thing about angles as well is it's something that we can objectively analyze from like a third-person standpoint, where it's hard to do that. It's hard to analyze like plan quality, communication, stuff like that without that. We could just objectively look, they are not in good positions for this composition. So does primary fire in May still make targets freeze faster in Blizzard? That's a good question. I'm not actually too sure. I don't remember. Any questions, guys? Because we can do some Ask Spilo real quick if you'd like. So if you guys don't know, !mark Discord. If you in the Ask Spilo channel, I'll just show you right now. Jump in the Discord. And then under Spilo stuff, there's Ask Spilo. You guys can ask any questions you'd like in here. And one other thing too, for some of you guys in chat, for maybe like talking about in here just for the VOD review, check this out. This is a totally free resource. It's every VOD review I've done, cataloged by rank and hero with YouTube/Twitch timestamps. Most recently, it's been almost all YouTube. So highly recommend this one out. If you guys are just like want the full VOD review of Kiriko, Sojourn, Orisa, Junkrat, Batiste, Zenyatta, Sigma, Winston, it's totally free and they're all time stamped in here. So check that one out. But yeah, we're gonna do some Ask Spilo in a second. Any questions about the match specifically? Any general questions? Throw it in here. It's halftime. 5K on the board. I'll see you soon. You're scaring me. I took me a second to understand what you were talking about, and I'm like, oh no. Is Ryan the better option to Ram? I think Reinhardt beats Ram in the raw Brawl mirror, yeah. My impression, anyway. I'm not sure, but I'm fairly certain. I think Ryan beats Ram in the Brawl mirror. Ram has more nuance to it, right? Ram is a little bit more flexible, but that's my take on it. I'm not really sure what's being played. I don't have a lot of insider information about what's being played in scrims, though. Could be situational as well, yeah. I'm hoping to this season, like once the season gets underway, maybe pull a few strings, ask some favors, and sit in at a few scrims. I wouldn't be able to leak anything, but at least have a better idea of like the strategy and what teams are trying to accomplish. But yeah, hate is nemesis for me. Yeah. Okay, let's close down Overwatch and chat the replay code. Let's actually check. Did this replay code die? Why is Cortana not shutting down? Please stop asking me to sign into Cortana. Cortana, please stop. Learn to control yourself. I hate technology, guys. Everything has to have a login or or two-factor authentication, and you have to have an account for everything. I have to have an account for the grocery store I'm shopping at. I'm joking, but it's exhausting. Why Cass May but not Sojourn? Cass, I think, is a little bit stronger, and he's a little bit better at like quickly controlling short sight lines. Like think about Oasis University. I think Cass is a little bit more threatening in those situations, and you don't need the mobility as much. Yo, as well, YouTube. Yeah, I'm glad to help, mate. Gold 5 the Masters. See, this is the SR inflation benefit. All of it can be put on me. You're welcome, man. I'm glad to hear it though. It's only gonna get worse. I'm sure it will. Yeah, I'm sure that's what depresses me. Okay, let's do some Ask Spilo while Blizzard is patching. I'm gonna scare myself and pull up my replay codes and find them all wiped. Oh wait. Let's actually check. It's now playable. Let's actually see. Did it wipe it? Oh jeez, I cannot believe we got that close to missing it. Let's find out. I need to close down Epic Pen for this. Epic Pen and Blizzard Client do not work together. They hate each other. Alright, let's find out. I'll have to check the patch notes out maybe. Oh, chat! Oh my gosh, we were so close. I'm actually curious, would they still have worked if they had bugged out? JZF HV6. Nope. Oh no, they wiped replays. And you cannot reload back. Chat, that replay code that we just reviewed is gone to the sands of time. It's gone forever. Shout out to Samito though. He was a real one for shoot me the codes. Nice guy. Okay, let's take a look here. Yeah. Yeah. Oh boy, wiped replay codes always are fun. I really wish they'd change that. It gets exhausting how fast they wipe them, and they always come up. It's tough. Okay, I'm not sure if it's a solvable thing. Okay, Ask Milo, Discord time. Why is Winston picked over Diva and dive comps? And as a Winston player, I can't seem to be good at diving on Diva. Maybe because I hate the Winston. I can't seem to be good at diving on Diva. Okay, so Winston is picked over Diva and dive compositions when there is more value to be gotten from controlling the enemy backline than there is from controlling the enemy DPS. So you'll see Diva played sometimes because she's really good at controlling the enemy Winston, right? But like, let's say there's like an Ana. A Diva can eat Ana cooldowns, but a Winston jumping Ana with bubble is going to do a better job controlling than the Diva will. In addition to that, Primal Rage is generally just a much more valuable ultimate and organized in team play. It's much more consistent fight win percentage. It's much more consistent at creating kills, creating picks, creating map control, and so on. So Winston's ult has a significant advantage over Diva Bomb in organized play. Now, if you're playing on controlling the enemy DPS, winning the DPS trade, or controlling the enemy monkey, Diva is still a good pick. And then when it comes to playing Diva like Winston, well, you can't dive like Winston as Diva. Like Diva can kill squishies, but she doesn't just dive enemy backlines as much, and she's not able to secure kills as much because a Winston bubble allows him to place the bubble down and then focus solely on securing kills, where Diva's a lot of shooting and then matrix and shooting the matrix and then flying around, right? You can't focus on just solely getting kills. It's more about distracting and buying attention and space, or selecting targets on flanks that you can fly to and contest easily, where just you simply contesting that 1v1 is really easy. It's hard though. Is this a hot take? Winston is good. We just don't have enough heroes that can work with him. Enough situations to make him more of a niche situational pick. No, I mean, I don't think it's necessarily a hot take. I don't think it's so much about like the enough heroes that work with him. I just think his skill ceiling is just, I think there's too many heroes right now. Like, I'll mirror Boger's opinion a little bit. Like, there's too many heroes right now where it's too easy to get good value out of them that don't reward you as much as like a Winston or a Reinhardt do. Like Winston and Reinhardt feel very rewarding to play, but they're more difficult to play. I wouldn't even call Winston a full niche character. He's bad on some maps for sure, but I'd say the majority of maps he's good enough. It's just that he's too hard to play. It's the same thing can be applied to Reinhardt as well. It's to me, it's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. As long as like there are heroes that are easier to play and that get as much value, then for most ranks, Winston's not going to be as good. If you're going to be gone, unable to play Overwatch for a decent period of time, what ways would you recommend stay warm? If you're not going to play Overwatch, there's not a whole lot you can do. Just enjoy your break. Come back to Overwatch with a new, fresh mindset. Maybe think of some ideas of how you want to structure your training or some plans of how you want to approach it when you come back. Just enjoy your break. Enjoy your break for the break. You know, a lot of people, and myself included, when we've taken time to do different things and then come back to it, we come back to it with fresh motivation, maybe some new ideas. Maybe we see things from a different perspective. I don't think it's a bad thing at all. Just enjoy the break. Hey, what's up, Lakshmi? Good to see you, mate. How you doing?
Hello, Spilo, what's up?
If I have a much higher win rate when I queue with players that are at the high end of my grouping bracket, am I getting carried? Am I just in games where... If I have a much higher win rate when I queue with players that are at the high end of my grouping bracket than otherwise, or in solo queue, am I getting carried? Or am I just in games where the random ladder teammates are very good? I think I'm trying to understand this question. This question's worded a little bit strangely. Maybe I'm just blind. Maybe a little bit of both. Am I just in games where my random ladder teammates are better equipped to enable me? I mean, when you're playing with friends that are a lot higher ranked than you, or even just a little bit higher ranked than you, you're going to be playing in situations that are a lot more punishing and a lot harder. So you're going to get punished for doing things that aren't necessarily bad, but are just hard to accomplish when you're playing up against players that are significantly better than you. So I recommend solo queue whenever you possibly can to focus on doing one step at a time. Because if you play with high-ranked players too often and you play cowardly, you'll learn to play cowardly just to survive, to get carried. So I would really, really, really focus on like trying to solo queue, and then the reason why I feel like my random ladder teammates are better equipped to enable me is probably because your random ladder teammates are closer to your actual rank, so you get punished less for doing the aggression that you might get punished for when you queue with higher ranked players. No. Why red team DPS always better than blue team DPS? Okay. I read somewhere that's a good idea to play with people who are better than you. Assuming this is true, how would you go about finding people who are better than you to play with? I would say it's good. So this actually ties in very tightly with what we just talked about here. It's good to play with people who are better than you, as long as you aren't discouraged or bullied by failure too much. If you get discouraged or bullied by failure, it will encourage you to play more passively or more cowardly, because you get punished for doing things because you're not mechanically good enough to take it. For example, if I'm a Widowmaker and I do everything right with my positioning, my angle, and I take a really intelligent duel, but I lose a duel because my mechanics are just worse than the guy that's 500 SR higher than me, the worst thing that I could do is then go, oh, I guess I shouldn't be taking the duel then, and then stop taking Widowmaker duels. That would build a bad habit with me, even though if I took it really intelligently. But if you are aware that you're doing the right things and you're just not quite good enough, you're just going to keep learning and keep practicing, then it can be a good thing. I think it's good to play with people who are better than you, but similarly to like the awkward unranked GM logic, I don't think it's good to play with people who are much better than you. I think slightly better than you is probably where you want to kind of fall in. And to put like an actual number on it, I would say if you're bronze 5, play with bronze 3 players, play with bronze 2 players. You know, if you're GM 5, play with GM 1 players. That way it doesn't feel like an overwhelmingly mechanical gap, and you're not necessarily punished for doing the right things as much. Isn't the shield change a nerf to ball? What is this? When they put the shields on ball, did they take it out of armor? I haven't really paid attention to this. So did they cut off some of his armor and replace it with shields? No? So he has the same amount of armor as before? He just has shields instead of some of his HP? So then what's the nerf? I guess you could say the initial burst damage that he takes is technically higher because it's shields, not armor, but that's compensated by the fact that the initial burst damage doesn't necessarily touch your armor and it regenerates back. You're able to preserve your armor more. I don't know what this is. I legitimately, I don't understand this. I don't get this. I don't know. If you bleed into the armor, does the armor not kick in? It does, yes. Yeah, I don't know. I got nothing here. Yeah, cheers, mate. Cheers, Camino. Could you go over the story of Hadi that you reference a lot and the importance of balancing a schedule with other things with a pro player? I mean, there's not like any one story with Hadi. It's just been kind of like him powering through season before last, trying to support him as best as I could, and obviously him supporting me and just kind of going into the season and him. I think a lot of the Fit Gamer stuff that we did season before last had a lot of impact, which was a Cloud9's partnership with Fit Gamer. And he kind of took a lot of self-initiative with that to better himself and started going to the gym and lifting weights and taking care of his health and his diet. It was just, it's a slow process, right? It wasn't like something that just snapped with Hadi, right? It was like a long, slow, you know, like anybody else. And then he built up good habits and then developed himself as a leader. And Hadi's not perfect, but I think nobody's perfect. I think that was something that he just over time worked with a lot. I don't think there was any one story with Hadi. I just was not a lifetime, but like a couple years of transition and change. Yeah. A lot of players would just retire after that first season. I mean, yeah, I think like Hadi really wanted to do better. Hadi had a lot of confidence in his play. I think one thing that helped him a lot is he knew that he was a good player despite what was being said. He just needed the chance to show it. So he didn't quit, right? He also learned to avoid social media a lot, right? And I think ever since that and the Uprising Academy situation, that's why I'm very careful to like trash players. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't really know. You know what I'm saying? You just don't really know. Is Zarya even worth learning right now? It depends on what rank you're at. Yeah. Do pro players hate playing Jotes? Yes. Jotes was not a very popular meta. Some people liked it, but Jungle Queen is a fun hero, but Jotes was horrific. Favorite Owl Chat meme? I don't know if it's exact. There's not really one that comes to mind, to be honest with you. One I still have saved from Unter back in the day when we were scrimmaging. I mean, this is like 2019, back in Contenders. See if I can dig it up. It's not exactly a meme so much as it's like a constant, consistent meme. Let's see if I can find it. Oh yeah, this is funny. Check this one. Oh, it wasn't from Unter, but it had Unter. RQD, who was the coach of Order Army at the time, which is the Australian powerhouse. This one just killed me. I don't know why when I first saw this, I could not stop laughing. This is during Goats meta, y'all. We were like, oh, they're gonna roll out in Widow, have like some cheese strategy. But as soon as the cheese strategy worked, you immediately had to go back to break. Oh dear, those are the days, man. I hate it. Like Goats got so old so fast. But my favorite meme, I don't know what my favorite Overwatch meme is, to be honest with you. I don't really have one. I'm boring like that. I'd have to think of it. The drops one is pretty funny. I think if you type !counter in my chat, there's still a command with that, like the counter any hero. Somebody try that one. I think that one still works. So just watch a video on how to practice effectively and to learn how to focus on one thing throughout an entire practice session. I have a team that plays in a league and is wondering if I should use scrims to practice things like positioning or if I should use scrims to practice playing at my best. It depends on how often you scrim. I think scrims using scrims for practice is a really good thing, but occasionally doing it. Yeah, see, there you go. Currently, I practice one thing when I play comp scrims that I try to play remember best without anything specific in mind in league games. Is this the best method for improve? I think that can work. I'm not sure what you mean by league games. I think maybe like tournament games with collegiate or something. But yeah, that can work. I think practicing things in scrims though is also like fine. What's going on? Why did it do that? Yeah. I think it's also totally fine to practice things in scrims. And the other thing about scrims is sometimes you have to practice different things. Like your team might have separate goals that you kind of have to complement. How does Magic character playstyle work? I mean, he just takes aggressive angles, and he distracts more people. That compensates for the lack of healing that he does, and he gets more picks for the lack of healing that he does. He contributes more to map control by actually killing people than lack of healing. I would need a replay code to look at, but you need to have his level of mechanics and his level of positioning and timing to be able to execute that. Mechanics is obviously the most important one, but yeah, you would have to post me a replay code here. Close. There you go. I play in controller. My understanding of the game is probably Master G about mechanics or goals. So, do you have any tips to get mechanically in controller? Outside of practice, no. I don't think there's any life hack to. There's probably some videos out there that might have some tips with like controller sensitivity and stuff like that, but it's just practice, mate. I want to know when to ult and why I use it for Winston. Use it as a second life in situations when your team can follow up. So, like when a team fight starts, jump in with Winston, maybe even more aggressively than you normally would. Your team is there shooting the Rhine shield, taking angles, and then you primal rage to extend your engage. It's not super complicated. You just need to use it as a life extension. There are some exceptions to that rule. For example, you could use it to like displace, boot people off the map, even before you need it to save your life. But that's generally the exception rather than the rule. As a bat player, how do you adjust playing with Brawl? Pay attention to when he's going in. Try to play a little bit Soldier 76. Get a little bit aggressive when he goes in. You can't really heal him a lot, so that actually opens you up a lot for playing more selfishly for damage and support. So you can do a lot more things besides focus on healing your tank, which is generally more of the priority as bat. Can use it to chase kills of people that like Ash that try to coach gun away. Exactly, yeah. Can use it to solo kill somebody. Playing as a banana rush, the Winston, Kiriko, Lucio, Reaper, I think. Without swapping, how do you play against Pharah comps? You rotate it onto their second support or their tracer. You just keep rotate. Keep moving, use your Lucio speed, take flanks, clear angles, clear flanks, clear angles, catch their second support. If it's a Kiriko, force a TP, then pursue. And then when you have rail, you can actually look to dive their pharmacy. Because if you rail the pharmacy, slash Kiriko shot, slash Winston jump in the air and right click, slash random Lucio spam, you can pretty much catch or kill anything that you want. You could even kill the pharmacy in the sky when you have full rail. So yeah, rotate low. Don't stay still. Keep using your speed. Try and make it hard for their pharmacy to set up on an angle and get comfy. You know what I'm saying? But you can clear out their tracer, you can clear out the tank, you can clear out their Kiriko, keep them moving. And then objective pressure once you're done. And then keep rotating. Do you think playing a different sensitivity for few heroes will mess with it? Will, but it's doable. I just don't recommend it. Let's put it that way. I started calculating something similar to Lakers' career best effort score. Basically, good plays, bad plays, time played, good plays, bad plays, time played, but I did what I'm working on, forgot to what I'm working on. So this is interesting. I think what you're saying is like you count the amount of time that you've actually stayed focused on what you were working on, and then quantify that as a percentage of the amount of time that you're playing, and you find that that's more often than not correlating with wins. I mean, that's interesting. As long as the only problem with like a lot of statistics and analysis and things like that is not that it's negative. It's about the opportunity cost, about how much time is it worth putting time into something like that instead of just playing the game. So I think as long as you've maybe streamlined it a little bit, then it's probably worth putting time into. And if it's fun or interesting for you, then go for it. But just make sure it doesn't take too much time away from just playing the game. I want to know, how do I play here? All I can think is waiting for the enemy to engage my backline and trying to disrupt them with the score. Is timeout as cancer? What? I want to know, how do I play here? Who are you? Are you red tracer? All I can think of is waiting for the enemy to engage my backline and try and disrupt them and burst with Discord. Also on blue team ball. Oh, okay. So one advantage that you have when you're playing, like look at their composition. Cassidy versus Genji. Ana versus Ana. Okay. Zen versus Lucio. You could start proactively marking their DPS. You have Harmony advantage, you have Discord advantage, you have more ranged damage than they do. So you could be diving and you could be slamming and engaging on this Genji. You're not going to get punished for it. You're going to take no damage versus their composition. So duel their Tracer, duel their Ball, duel their Genji, mark them. So the reason why this works is their composition, if this is your backline and this is the enemy backline, until the enemy threats, it's kind of confusing that they're blue, but we're gonna roll with it. Until the enemy threats are on top of your Ana Zen, okay? Your comp is better. So what you want to do is you want to stop them from getting on top of your Ana Zen by shooting them early and often. So as they're like taking angles and flanks and trying to set up to dive your Ana Zen, you go shoot them. You get a little bit of Harmony help, you get a little bit of Ana help, you get a little bit of Zen help, a little bit of Cassidy help, right? Start shooting them now. Don't let them die. Force their deflect out. Burn that ball's shields down a little bit. Force that tracer to use a blink or two, or take down 50, 60 of her HP. Break these guys early and often, because when you guys have them at range, that's where you guys have the advantage. They have the advantage by getting close. You have the advantage at distance. So win the fight by taking the fight at distance early and often. This is where the term called marking comes into play, where marking is not trying to dive, but trying to prevent them from diving by using dive heroes. So you and your tracer should be trying to duel their DPS 24/7, because if your Ana Zen can take good, juicy range sightlines without getting dope, you're going to easily win the fight. You could go for backline. Let's say Ana uses sleep dart and nade, and she's isolated. Yeah, you could go and kill her. But generally, like, look at their backline. Their backline's a lot harder for you to kill, so you don't need to kill it as much. You can prioritize it more on their DPS instead, where you'll get more Discord pressure. Can I watch my imitation Jonak Zen body block highlight? Maybe. Generally, we do roast my highlight. Like, we're probably gonna do roast my highlights either later this week or next week. So if I don't do it today, I'm sure I'll do it soon. Sorry if my voice is giving out. I've been sick for like a week, so it's been kind of rough. I don't remember when you said this, but you said that when people try to run Reinhardt combat all day to run Bap Lucio, but why couldn't they run the Kiriko Lucio didn't exist. When Reinhardt was run, Kiriko didn't exist. And then when Kiriko existed, Reinhardt was not run. Reinhardt had already kind of gone a little bit of the way of the dodo, even for London. Macro-wise, what's the difference between Sombra and Overwatch 1 and Overwatch 2? Not a whole lot outside of Overwatch 2. She can play slightly more for assassinations, which means that she can play more for like backline dive-centric stuff instead of like controlling or denying enemy DPS / tanks. Like a hack on a tank or a DPS matters a lot, but it matters a little bit less than it did in Overwatch 2. Or Overwatch 1, excuse me. So there's more time spent on trying to assassinate targets than there was before. The damage boost off of the hack is the big difference, right? How popular is your content broken down by role? I don't know, actually. That's a really good question. I honestly don't know. There's definitely more popular heroes. I was joking the other day that a lot of my support VODs generally have a lot of dislikes or complaints because support mains can be a little bit crybaby-ish. Not all support mains, not even most support mains, but there are a few. It's like the Genji mains that shriek in your ear, and there's just a few support mains that tend to be kind of annoying. They identify with their hero too much, I think. But I don't know in terms of like amount. Since Overwatch 2, it's been pretty down the middle. I don't think there's more DPS tank or support, and I think in terms of like popularity, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I would have to actually check it out. I have to check it out. Not all support mains. Bro, that Brig video, which was very clearly like a tough love roast review, people were on my butt for being tough on that guy, on Brig. And people were like, Brig is not the worst support. She was. and even the Mercy guide, like, you guys see the comment I got in the Mercy guide? Of the Platinum Mercy coaching I did? This mate was on my butt for not critiquing the Mercy player's positioning in like the first 8 minutes. We were talking about like awareness and like the big picture stuff, and I thought the positioning was good enough for Plat, right? It wasn't the lowest hanging fruit, and boy, I got roasted in the chat. You don't know what you're talking about when it comes to Mercy position. This Mercy position, I got blah, 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 wall of text. I'm like, bro, it's Platinum Mercy. They were pretty good. Like, chill, man. I tell you, Mercy mains, Brig mains, some of these, they get on me, man. They get on me. They're killing me. Where's my name come from? I think I didn't even, yeah, I answered it. It's from a Bionicle. Okay, I made a Bionicle. I was a Bionicle nut. I built some crazy Bionicles as a kid. Bionicles as a kid, and oh man, I named one. I don't know where the name Spilo came from. It just kind of popped in my head. But yeah, a lot of like the Stormcrow productions. Storm, that was another Lego one. Stormcrow, Lord of the Rings. A lot of that came from stuff as a kid. I think that's the case with most people. What is your opinion makes a character, more specifically an ability, unhealthy for the game? For me, the first one, I'm not going to read the rest of your question. For me, unhealthy is generally impact is not correlated with difficulty. So if something is very impactful for, like, let's say sleep dart, right? It should be difficult to use or to land, either mechanically or in terms of using it decision-making wise. Right? It's like Wind Send Bubble is incredibly strong, but it's hard to use, right? So for me, you need to have a good positive correlation where an ability is very weak, but it's very easy to use. So when something is too easy to use or too hard to use, it's probably not a good correlation. Now, I think there's some exceptions to that rule. Discord is very easy to use, but the hero itself is very difficult, right? So it doesn't necessarily make it one-to-one. Common thoughts are one-shots. Discord, there you go. Damage boost. Damage boost is very easy to use, right? And a whole plethora of abilities. I think damage multipliers can be very unpopular as well, but them and one-shots, I'm not as like sold on the one-shots and damage boosts are fundamentally broken. I think one thing that we know for certain is that when an ability or a hero is easy to play, it gets disproportionate value to how easy it is to play. That is universal, not just in Overwatch. That is something that people don't like. Let me turn on the light. For example, if I'm playing, like, let's say, I don't know. Let's say that like you're at a family meeting and you just got your bachelor's in like finance here, and somebody got a bachelor's in like, I don't know, paper products or I'm trying not to offend anybody here because I don't know anything about how easy or difficult degrees are, like tea sampling. A bachelor's of science and tea sampling, and you're like, well, we technically both have bachelors, you know, I'm educated, right? But you're like, bro, I work so much harder than mine, you know. I think that's where people get mad, you know. And so it's like it's a lot like that. So Discord, damage boost, I get, like damage multipliers, one shots, I get that they can be frustrating, but I think it's hard to say are fundamentally unhealthy. It's kind of hard to say. What is fundamentally unhealthy is rewarding a lack of skill or effort. That's more important to me than anything else. Kind of redundant here, but do you also think that Overwatch player base as a whole will not find something that feels OP? I mean, I think you're never going to have a perfectly balanced game, and you're never going to have something where it makes everybody happy. It's just not possible. But I think you could definitely, if you do a better job punishing low skill heroes or bringing lower skill heroes up to a higher standpoint, you know, think about like Junkrat Trap, right? Like Junkrat Trap takes a little bit of skill to use, and it's not very strong. But when it hits you, boy, oh boy, does it feel bad, because you know that that person probably didn't put a lot of thought into it, right? Guys are trolling me. If part of my practice routine is try hard FFA, does that need to happen right before I play comp to get the maximum benefit? That's probably a little bit too long of a break. Now, IOStex had an interesting theory. I don't know if there's a lot of science behind it or not. This was an old video from him as well, but I think it was something about like how sleep is like the one resetter. So theoretically, if you warmed up in the morning and played in the evening, I think you might be okay, but it's probably not the best. It's certainly not the best use of your time. Or definitely try and do it as close as you possibly can. When playing as Lucio, when we're both running dive, is it better to assist my teammates or backline and go with their flankers? It depends. It depends. It depends on where their flankers are. If their flankers are not staged or not in a position to aggressively dive your team, then you should assist yours. If your flankers are staged aggressively and your support is safe, then you could probably go in aggressively. Like this question is solving how you play dive. If you can answer this question in each situation, you now know how to play Lucio and dive. There isn't a black or white answer because it's incredibly nuanced, and that's what makes good Lucio players good, is knowing when to push and when not to push. Like we just, for example, you guys were here for the analysis, right? When does the Ryan Brawl team push versus when does the Ryan Brawl team play slow? Right? Do you see how nuanced that answer is? As we saw, and whichever team was able to answer that question accurately won. Yo, Spilo, do you think it would be beneficial to start doing scrims and currently master start playing the game out? Yeah. I mean, I think it doesn't hurt. Like, I think it couldn't hurt to at least try. I think scrims are a lot of fun. So give it a shot. I don't think it's a bad thing at all. Get a little bit of team experience. Yes, maybe some teams will look down on you, but it can't hurt to try, right? There's no real downside to trying. How to play Cassidy in this meta? I'm not sure. I haven't seen enough Cassidy to be sure, but we know for a fact that he's a short to mid-range hero that benefits a lot from cover and does very, very good in winning 1v1 trades. So using that information, go play him. Short, mid-range duels against most heroes, unless you're like Reaper Junkrat here, right? And then try and leverage that with good cover and playing around where your team is set up. Make sure that you're using your sticky and squishies, you know. How would you play Diva into Doomfist? I feel like I'm peeling too hard for your team. You need to try and mark him earlier. So you actually do pretty well in 1v1ing Doomfist, but if you wait for him to dive into your team and then try and fly back in Matrix, he's just going to disengage and you're going to be out of position. So you want to try and proactively mark him, or if they have DPS that are really easy for you to mark as well, like let's say it's like a sniper or something like that, you can easily mark them as well and dive their backline instead. If you're always flying backwards as Diva, then you're going to have a hard time. As Diva, you're either trying to avoid the enemy tank entirely, like Reinhardt Sigma, right? And go for backline or control angles. Or you're trying to mark the enemy tank. For example, like Brawl is hard to mark, but you can do pretty good versus Brawl if you can get damage on him early and often. Same thing with Doomfist. Diva is oppressive versus Winston. If you can completely match him 24/7, really, really hard for him to do anything around you. But you can either need to mark him early or try and find ways to just simply go on the rest of his team. If you're, like I said, if you're always only flying backwards to peel him off, it might be too late. I mean, it's still probably worth doing at that point in time, but you need to try and do more before that gets to that point. Is the reason why one-shot seems so strong because healing is so powerful right now? I mean, we talked a lot about this in late Overwatch 1. I guess 2020. I guess it wasn't that late, but like a lot of when healing sustain creep came up, then you needed high burst to be able to deal with it. But I don't know. I think Kiriko healing is on the down tune. I don't think 67 HPS. I mean, I don't know yet. This is potentially an issue, but this is only when the target is critical. And if burst damage is as much of a factor as people are saying, when the target is under 50%, any form of burst and the target is dead. And the 67 HPS only happens when there's sustained slow damage coming in. Like the 67 HPS matters when I'm Winston zapping the backline, right? But that's not the burst damage that you're talking about. So theoretically, yes, but also theoretically, no. So I don't think that these are necessarily good enough points for it. No, I don't think so. I think it's a much more nuanced discussion than just throwing out some numbers. Sam said he thinks Spilo has the best echo in the world, not even close for years. Is that a hot take? No, I don't think it's a hot take. I think it's a biased take, but I don't think it's a hot take. He might not be wrong. I don't know. I don't think anybody really knows. But he's obviously good friends with Spilo. But I think it's also been pretty normal. It's been pretty obvious that Spilo has one of the best, if not the best, echo for a while. So it's a biased take, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's wrong. I've got a lot of hours in the game, and I feel like my awareness game sense positioning have improved greatly over the past year. However, I feel like my mechanics, especially aim, just isn't improving. Is the best way to improve this playing workshop codes and FFA, or is it something I do to get... I mean, I would check your hero pool as well, like your mechanics relative to the hero that you're playing. Like, you're going to get better mechanics when you play the hero that you're playing, but if all those boxes are checked, then yeah, you just need to put more time into workshop codes and FFA. That's the way to do it. I mean, I think the Mercy take makes sense. If you can't kill anything with consistent low damage, you need to play the burst damage heroes. I mean, but you can. Like, the one consistent low damage hero character that it matters is a hero like Winston. Like, what hero doesn't have enough damage to punch through a Mercy beam? I mean, I don't really know. Like, maybe tracking heroes like Tracer or Sombra? Potentially. I mean, I'm not saying it's wrong. I just don't think saying numbers alone. Like, this is push fundamentally imbalanced. Are one-shots fundamentally imbalanced? I don't know. Like, these questions are like, it's really hard for you to look at numbers and be 100% sure. I don't disagree that more HPS isn't good, but I don't know for sure that that's necessarily a huge issue. Stuff like Soldier, mid-ranging, that's fair, yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Specifically talking about Tracer, fair enough. I get it, yeah. But then if you have a Mercy pocketing a hero that doesn't die, that is still two attentions that you're pulling. So I will agree with you. I think more HPS is not a good like we don't want heroes that do a lot of HPS necessarily. That's not good. Like utility is way more engaging and way more fun. But I'm not so sold that it's the fundamental issue. It's a fundamental issue of the game that's a major concern right now. I'll put it that way. Maybe there's too much high HPS on easier healing abilities. That could be fair. Like a BAP has, or an Ana have high HPS, but it takes a little bit more skill. Yeah, sure. How would you go about practicing mechanics outside of deathmatch try or FFA? No, don't do. I would probably work custom games or aim arena with other players. Yeah, I would not. I would avoid Kovacs and aim labs. Been a while. Hey, stopped playing Overwatch 1 at the end of its life cycle, and I came back and fell over with Ramattra. He's such a unique tank. I've had problems dealing with Pharah, though. I'm not trying to manage my aggression against Zenyatta, so whatever reason the tank can do. Well, you can't really deal with Pharah. that's deal with everything but the Pharah is your job as Ramattra. I'm also not sure how to manage my aggression versus Zenyatta. Seems like whenever he's on the enemy team, I just can't get close to Nemesis. Well, think about your pathing, think about your cover usage. So you could beat the ever-living crap out of Zenyatta. You just can't close the distance on him from a million miles away because he's going to whittle you down, even with your block. So you need to find a way to utilize cover, avoid his sightlines, and then get on top of him if you're going to engage him at all. He's just a completely free kill if you're able to get on top of him. So, yeah, true, Gabe. True. I think the idea is that if the Mercy is skilled, she should be able to keep a target up. But right now, there's not a lot of skill on the Mercy's standpoint outside of being on the target in the first place. I mean, this becomes a greater conversation about skill as a whole, right? With Mercy, skill expression as a whole with Mercy. I just watched the Mechanics Club with Sev earlier today and thought it was great. Thank you. Thank Sev as well. Obviously, he did the vast majority of the work. Regarding strafing unpredictably, I feel like it's kind of contrary to staying near cover. I feel like if I try to stay near cover, I can't have much bias. I'll end up way too far away from it. Otherwise, I'm particularly staying near the corner. In his for staying much better. Well, it depends on whether you're actively. I think a lot of the times when movement matters is when cover isn't relevant. If that makes any sense. I think there's definitely ways that you can move around cover to complement its style. For example, I can move and juke and be unpredictable around the cover in small ways. But I think Sev will have to back me up on this one or chime in with this one. Maybe we'll I think it's more to do with when you for example, if a tracer's flanking you as Zenyatta or you get caught out in the open as Cassidy, how do you move to keep yourself alive or to win the duel when cover isn't a factor? That's what I would say. Cover movement is essentially what you do when you have a cover disadvantage. It's not that simple, but that's the way I would essentially look at it. It's a great question though. Is Ball better at controlling backline right now, and that's why he's being played over Monkey? I mean, he just has so much higher uptime, you know? Like with the shield changes and with the lowered cooldown on Slam, and even the Mines buff was significant. He just has so much higher uptime. He can just go in. He's just stronger. That's all. Kat, can you put that in Spilo content suggestion ideas? I'll try and maybe do that this Thursday. I don't have time to go through it right now. How do you know when the thing you've been practicing is done and you can move on to the next part of your gameplay? For example, I'm currently practicing Straight Venom Soldier. How do I know when I can stop practicing? When you put in a decent amount of time on it, which for me would be like, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 hours, you know? Give yourself to where you feel like you've made 10%. It's a gut feeling, you know, and something that comes from experience, right? Where you've practiced enough things, maybe not just even Overwatch, to where you understand that, like, I'm never going to master this in the first time, especially. So I'm just going to spend enough time where I feel like I've done a much better job. I can do a lot of it without even thinking as much. I'm a 5, 10, 15% better, and I'm going to move on. Because the problem with sticking with something too long is it gets really stale, and then you don't have the motivation to keep practicing, and then the practice is bad, and then now you're not getting better at it, right? So it comes from experience and time, where you have a better feel of when too much is too much, if that makes sense. I think Ball is the best thing on the current patch. Is a pretty good argument for it, probably, yes. Yeah, so if you feel like you've gotten better and you've been able to you've been better for several days, probably time to move on. Maybe revisit it at a later point in time. How do you play with a Doomfist? Just pay attention when he's in, pay attention when he's out. Their cycles are very fast, so it's not as black and white as like Winston, but you should be able to do it. Do you dive together with them? Do you sit back and utilize the space he creates? It depends entirely on the hero you're playing. If I'm Hanzo, I'm not diving with my Doomfist, but I am utilizing the space that he creates to set up picks, to set up angles. Is there any tank you could draw parallel to? I mean, many tanks. Winston, Orisa, Reinhardt, any tank that goes in at all and creates space, you capitalize off of that space. Or you either help him directly or you capitalize off of it indirectly. Playing with him like a Winston, but seeing his Doom has more of an in-out style has been being to in while the Doomfist. Right, so that's the thing is there is a lot of, with Winston, it's, you know, in, stay, out. With Doom, it's like kind of in, out. So maybe you don't hard commit as much with the Doomfist, but you do take aggressive positions to be able to capitalize off of it. Grandmaster Hanzo tips. Take a long, hard look. Thank you so much for the sub recently. I hope you're doing well, mate. I haven't heard from you much recently. I hope all is well. So take a long, hard look at your Sonic and Storm usage. Are you using Storm to clear angles or to put significant pressure on enemy tank lines? Are you actually using Sonic in situations where you need the scouting information? I reviewed I think it was a Masters Hanzo not long ago. What? I know I coached Hanzo. Oh no, maybe it was off the stream. Maybe it was off stream. I don't know. And a lot of what we talked about was like actually using your cooldowns, like really paying attention to how you're using your cooldowns. Like Sonic is a really, really powerful ability, not just to line up shots, but to get scouting information on who's controlling and contesting flanks, and then to use that information accordingly. I also think mid-fight dragons are generally probably better. I don't know. Think a lot about your positioning and adjust your positioning based off of what you're playing versus. Like if you can play Hanzo very aggressively versus like Widowmakers and such, but generally you want to play a little bit more longer range sight lanes versus non-comps. Those are very general tips though. Who's a good second hero to pick up as a Winston one trick? Whatever tank hero that you enjoy playing besides Winston. Don't overthink it. Would you build it for the Hanzo utilizing space, or would you play it with dive heroes? I think Doomfist generally does better with dive heroes, but because he's very, very flexible with his positioning and he's a little bit more in out, he's very flexible. Like Doomfist can play with spam heroes, Doomfist can also play with dive heroes. He does a little bit better with dive heroes, but because he's a little bit more self-reliant and doesn't require and is more flexible with where he can go, like he can also dual DPS on the flank and then dive back and then dual DPS on the flank. He can actually help out your snipers a great deal. So I think Doomfist is more flexible than Winston. Okay, chat, we're gonna call it. So, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna host Heemsky, who is a tank player playing Junker Queen. I will be back this Thursday with Sunshine Bread. We will have a coaching session with Sunshine Bread and more juice. Maybe we'll talk about the line, a macro concept that I think is completely misunderstood and is misconstrued. Maybe we'll go over some Majid Kiriko. We'll have to wait and see. Exclamation mark coaching, exclamation mark Patreon so that I can eat. And obviously check out my Discord as well, where there's all those free juicy coaching sessions. New raffle? Oh yeah, new raffle probably this Thursday as well. New free coaching session this Thursday. Most likely. Loves and kisses. Thanks guys for being part of the stream. Jump in our raid. Let's go. Let's say hello to Heemsky. We're going to hop out in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh!